Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our coverage of the ESEA Mountain Dew League at the relegation sessions. My name is Justin, aka Starboy. I do have a right-hand man in Graham, aka Dreamboat, and we're starting off on Inferno, and this and that will be your CT side, and Riot Gaming will be your terrorists.
Yeah, we did see an early nade bought by Paris. Threw it down Banana, not able to connect. That one took early spacing. Smart play from Riot, just to wait out any nades that may come. And now we have a couple of their players moving their way up Banana. Leading the charge will be Tom. He also has Olaf with him. And he's actually going to get a nice gush there onto Sorb. That's a lot of damage done. As the remaining players are starting to move towards Apps, however, still has a kill onto Jabbo.
So Jabbo down very early on, and well, that might have stifled whatever attack that Riot had. But they do have the element of time on their side, but not so much in terms of utility. Gunlock is the only nade man. That is a smoke expended there, and that is the flash. And it looks like the tirade of Riot players are wanting to make their way onto the A site. And Riot was successful in getting one before being traded out. But well, with all that said and done, and all the defense completely quashed, the bomb is now down on the A site, and this and that will have to retake if they want any chance of getting the opening round.
Starting to move their way in, though. Death will find a lovely first kill onto Gunlock. Olaf, though, and Pitty's tapping away P250, not able to find a kill. Needs to find something. There's three players. They will take him out, and now it is just Tom, 1 versus 3. He's got a Glock in hand. 3 players to work on. We'll find the close one. That's Sorb, the hurt player. Someone's on the bomb, though. Needs to fly around the corner. Pulls him off it and finds a kill. Oh my, Tom, this is beautiful. Working the 1 versus 3. He gets the kill as well. Oh my, what a clutch. Pick him off with the Glock, one at a time.
3K for him then. Well, Tom definitely did go major there. Basically pulled victory for the Jaws defeat there for Riot Gaming. He got himself a CZ for his trouble too. So you got to be happy with that. And with that, well, Riot will be doing a pretty standard buy. We have 3 submachine guns, 2 MAC-10s, 1 MP5, 1 Galil, and 1 AK. But oh, lots of nades and lots of shrapnel being eaten by both Gunlock and Tom in the early stages. They're down to 53 and 36 respectively. And well, that's definitely put Riot on the back foot after this is out of bought a little bit to try and even the scales.
Yeah, once again, they were trying to grab some pressure up Banana. This time they didn't wait out the nade, and they took a ton of damage for it. We'll be back towards the A-bomb site where it looks like Riot want to go. Wrath is waiting there, and actually Death fell off of arches, so there's only 2 players in this site. Wrath up close, though, will be taken out. Now, 1 man in the site. Still, what can he find? He's got a deagle in hand. Spraying around, we'll find 1, gets 2. Oh, that was beautiful to grab a pair, but it's not going to be quite enough. A will fall. And now the retake comes in. Once again, 3 versus 3 Cyber Waste. Can this and that clutch it out this time?
Perhaps, and there is one big piece of defense left on the ground, and that is the AK, now picked up by Godlock. In the interim, it has been shrunken down into a pair of pairs, a 2 versus 2, and well, now a 1 versus 1, a Godlock basically held that down like a turret. And did get a 2K for himself and carries over that AK. But if you're Riot Gaming, you would have to be a little bit disappointed with that one. You only survived with 1 player, and well, the CTs made you pay dearly.
Yeah, I mean, we're early on here. Yes, Riot have eked out a 2-0 lead, but that's 2 1v1s that it came down to for both of them. And I mean, this and that, you got to feel a little bit sorry for. They had a couple nice attempts on the retakes, just let them slip away, right? So, I mean, they're kind of lucky to be hanging on to this one. Once again, though, up Banana, Gunlock taking a lot of space. This is something he's done early with Tom in each of these first 3 rounds. We'll see if it's a trend that carries through. There are just players with USPs in that bomb site, so they may elect to just run the MAC-10 through, try and do some farming. It is the only SMG on the field.
Oh, anything Gunlock can do with that MAC-10 to line the coffers for Riot, that'll be very much appreciated. That's exactly what it will do. Sorb will be riddled with bullets, and Paris will suffer the same fate. And, well, aside from a little damage exchanged in terms of, well, armor being chunked, actually no damage exchanged. Would you look at that? And Wrath has hit the deck, and now it is only Syl and Death to try and even things up, but it doesn't look like that will come to fruition. It's only Syl left, and he is no longer with us. Jumbo did go up close to going down, but Riot Gaming survived without a scratch.
Yeah, I mean, there was one single dink at the very end there that did a lot to one player, but that's a round that Riot needed. Dropping down to one player in the first two round kind of puts your economy a little bit up against the wall. Having a very clean one here means that they're going to be a lot more comfortable. You can already see that in the economy starting to build up. Yeah, Olaf doesn't have a lot of money, but Gunluck's already up to 6K. Into this gun round, they will be able to buy next.
Curious about Gunlock hanging on to the Mac 10, especially knowing that there is armor in the fray. I guess with a couple not having helmets, the only two with helmets are Death and Saw. Maybe there will be the X factors. But Riot really wanting to push their presence up Nana and into the B side. Well, it's been their favored place thus far to try and make this and that feel a little bit uneasy. And maybe scare them away with that pseudo-aggression. But Olaf, ow, more shrapnel being eaten and down to 57. It's not going to dampen Riot's spirits, but that may change the positioning when they actually end up doing this hit, wherever they choose to go. It looks like they're wanting to go up Banana for their next attack.
Yep. Smoke's coming down, flashes through. Orb is the, or Sorb, sorry, is the only one in the back of the site. We'll find the first kill on the Gunluck. Peeks back out, sprays two, not able to land another, but Paris with the molly.
Fire!
He stole two of them there, burning them alive. And now it is just Olaf, half health from that early nade. Trying to get a bomb down, maybe. Will he find a kill? No, shot in the back. Death got that one, and it's a first round for this and that.
And if only we had the little sound out of Dad Ford from Mortal Kombat just going, toasty! That was pretty much how that round went. That Molotov from Paris basically, it basically won on the round, dropped the bomb at their feet, and got things very, very comfortable there for this and that. And, well, hopefully that could be the thing that turns the tide and turns this into a whole new competition. I'll have to wait and see, though. They are on the verge of being reset on the CT side. It's a pivotal round for both sides, actually.
Yeah, very little cash left in the Riot bank accounts after that one. This is a must-win for them, as far as early rounds can be, just to get that bank account back up into a comfortable spot. Again, they are sussing out the situation towards B, something that Tom and Olaf will consistently want to do every round. However, based on the other three players, looks like this might be more of an A play. I think there will be an entrance attempt out of Boiler. Looking the wrong way, just missed out on that one. Rat feeling the pressure, does fall back. Now there is that pressure up Banana. Again, just leaning on a couple of these players right now, trying to find any kind of opener. Death close in mid might be the first man to fall, though, as Jabo hits a nice shot. Now we're going to see where the bomb elects to go. It looks like it'll be in... It looks like a B wrap, potentially. They have arch positioning. In fact, they are just pulling the rotates. We'll be straight up Banana. Sorb the only one here, and he's about to walk into it. Sola finds his head. B has fallen. Paris did catch the lurker, but 3 alive. I think they might elect to save rather than try and retake this.
Well, maybe on the back of that frag on Olaf, that may actually change their plans, but gonna look like they're well and truly dug in, and, well, this and that. If they were going to go for it, they'd be a lot closer to the site, and, well, Jabba basically sealed that. Seal is off of the table for this round. Now, I think this and that will only want to be taking bodies, but, well, Riot will get through there relatively cleanly, and, well, a 4th round for them, and this and that. They wanted to claw themselves back into it, but they just couldn't get it done.
I can sympathize as a man with procrastination and a lack of finishing. Sometimes you just can't get things done, not when you want to, and they weren't able to pull off that retake. 4th round for Riot, and again, their money is good. Money for this and that, not so. So it's 3 CZs, a couple USPs, a little bit of armor on a couple of these players as well, so there's potential for some impact. It's going to be a tough round for them to pull out.
We've seen the CZ be extremely effective, Dreamboat. Don't get me wrong, it could be extremely potent should the needs arise. But basically, that will be banking on close engagements, and the two without the power pistols down will basically be acting as trading dummies. Well, what do you know? Layers actually goes down to a CZ, so that did a little bit of a positive improving my point there, but it is still a 4 versus 4, and Riot are just looking to go through the motions. But Sil did get his hands on an AK, and another member of Riot actually fell, so Riot can't really afford to lose any more men, or it could be being a lot more costly than they probably would have liked.
Yeah, no kidding. Now it is a 1 versus 2. Cell doesn't have particularly much health, no armor, but he does have an AK, so I think you will see him at least try and get some X's here. Maybe give his hand at this 1 versus 2. Starting to move his way forward, looking for anybody that he can. Any opening into this round. Will he find even a single one? There's a peek coming through, but he doesn't find that kill. Now he is going to fall back. No kit, no armor, no, not much of a point in trying any further than that. He'll be able to hang on to this AK nice and comfy.
And well, if you are this and that, despite all the investment into CZ's armor and the like, you'd still be pretty happy with that. You've made things a lot more expensive for the terrorists, and well, you've got a little bit of a cushion to fall back on in the coming rounds. Well, with the round loss bonus sort of kicking in, they might be able to do a quasi buy, or they may just try and they may just elect to protect the AK on the back of Sil, and well, aside from a little bit of armor and the CZs and a PC50 on the back of Wrath, it looks like that's what they're electing to do.
Yeah, and it's a strategy I much prefer. Don't overbuy around an AK. Some teams do kind of do it to the detriment of their economy, but I like the play that they are doing here. Still up in apps right now. Might be able to catch a couple players coming around this corner. The timing on this is going to be very huge. Will spray through, but oh, Jabbo rips his head away. That's the first kill. Wrath coming in behind, recovers the AK. Finds a kill to even things up. However, they are about to swarm the A-bomb site. Players walking out. The AK, though, Wrath is good. Had that armor. Jabbo will trade it back. Tom getting one as well. Now that should be most of the damage done.
Yep, the bomb is now down thanks to Gunlock, and well, unless one of the this and that members could have gotten a frag, it could have made things a lot more different, but it was not to be. 6 now for Riots, and well, it could be a 7th now. But this and that can actually offer a rebuttal, and we do see an AWP now on the back of Wrath. If that huge investment ends up paying off, it couldn't actually turn the tide of this game because of the power of the AWP on the CT side.
One is going straight towards Banana. That's where a lot of pressure is being, but he eats a lot of damage for no payoff there. No real pressure came up. He just took about 30 damage off of nades.
Give or take, but Wrath didn't actually fire off a shot, so unless Riot's got a keen eye for view models, they may not have noticed that there is an AWP on the field.
Yeah, he stood kind of in the line of fire for that nade just to get the peek through, and no one obliged him with it. So he isn't really known that he's there. Might be able to find something. Olaf sitting in that corner. I'm not sure he'll expect it, though. 4 players grouping up in Banana. He'll likely aim that hit. We're just going to see Jabbo put some pressure in on the lurk. Doesn't even find anything. Now this and that, they're going to start to get a little bit aware. I'd like to see them rotate soon. They're not going to do so. The op comes through, though. Wrath finding that first shot. Paris backing him up. He's got a kill as well. Make that a second for him. And the op comes through. A nice and clean round for this and that.
I did say big investment, and it paid off in spades. It was essentially a 2-man power trip there on the B-bomb site, and they essentially locked that down, especially after the lurker of Riot. It was Jabbo had fallen down towards the boiler, and after all that, despite all the winning ways of Riot, they got stretched to the point of breaking. And looking at this buy, it's only going to be Tech 9s, a little bit of armor, and some nades on the back of Jabbo. It looks like Riot want to assemble a death ball of sorts and just roll right over whatever defense this and that will put up, and Sil and Death are having none of it.
Yeah, beautiful play there, just pushing through the smoke with the support of the balcony player, absolutely mulching those around. Jabo now gets a little bit of damage through on a tag up, but still, this is an awkward spot. Tom will uncork a shot right through the dome with death. Give him the sweet release of death. Maybe we'll find some more, but he will be cleaned up now. It's just Jabo.
Jabba did get one for Sorb to rebuy as well, but he will meet his demise there, and the gap is now 3. 6 to Riot and 3 to this and that. And I did say that the AWP would be a pivotal weapon. And well, the round leading up to this, it basically proved exactly that. And it's caused Riot to basically rethink where they tread. And judging from this buy, it looks like all it'll be is just smokes and just raw firepower.
Really impressed to see that the kill distribution's so similar as well. Almost everybody's within a kill of each other between the two teams in their relative spots. So you're gonna have to see if one of the bottom fraggers, like if Sarby's on 1 and 8 or Olaf at 2 and 8, if one of them takes off, that will be the huge swing in this game. Other than that, everyone else is firing off very even towards their peers. See if they can turn up the heat, help swing things for their squad.
You like it when things are sort of uniform and more together. And speaking of together, they're wanting to do a waterfall out onto the A side. Olaf will, just as you were saying, hey, they've gone a bit quiet. Olaf did get 2. And it will be an absolute cacophony of frags, and Olaf in a 1 versus 2. And has throw at the back. They will have to ace to get this round for Riot. And, well, to his detriment, the bomb is not down either.
But I'm also not quite aware as to whether or not Sorb and Paris are aware that the bomb is down. And that works to Olaf's advantage. He can try and play timeout a little bit here. See if they can't make some concern. Now he is just going to stick the plant. They're coming right out at him. Will he expect the player coming? Marches. Will he expect both of them there? It's a $1 million question. First one peeks out, not able to find either, though. Paris finds the kill, closes it out. But a beautiful hold by Death in the site. I really didn't see a chance for him to get 3 kills, but he somehow did it. And with that, it is a 4th round. This and that starting to roll.
Indeed, much like their logo, if Sorb's any indicator. It's actually a circle. And that's pretty cool. At either rate, we do have 2 AWPs now. Make things a lot more difficult for Riot Gamer to crack. And just judging from what Riot's bought, nothing but power pistols and a little bit of armor for Layers and Jabo. So I'm expecting another death ball, and Death is aware of this, has already tagged up one of the members of Riot. And it looks like the rest of this and that want to follow in tow, but 2 1-digs in stereo from 2 members of Riot are trying to say loudly and proudly, we're going to take this site with a scavenged orb. Jabo will kill the final defender on the A site. The bomb is now down, and Riot are in the driver's seat. This and that are going to have egg on their face if they don't get moving.
Oh, and that slight gap in the smoke worked perfectly for Jabo. Oh my lord, what was that? I didn't even think he saw the player there, but just committed to it, shot through, banged him through the wall, took down his life, and what a round for Riot.
Well, you can basically say that their team name is... It's not a lie at all. That round was a Riot from start to finish with a scavenged orb. Jamos did a huge part in winning that round for Riot, and this and that left extremely red-faced. They can buy in, but it's going to be extremely spotty. 3M4s, 1P250. We still have the orb in play though. Raph did rattle it off, but it was to no avail. And he did get taken down by Gunlock. There is a member on Arch, did end up avenging him, but ended up taking a lot of damage and then his life for doing so.
Still up in amps, just trying to rain on the Riot parade. Really be able to at least stop this bomb potentially. Swings out, not able to find anybody though. Olaf was wise to it. Sword walking down Banana. He's down as well, and now it is just Paris and the Riot squad wreaking havoc. It's like they're knocking down tables, hitting people with chairs, whatever it takes, and they are just cleaning house right now. 2 huge rounds from them, 2 very clean rounds.
And only one casualty, that being Gunlock, and he can easily buy himself. So it's basically it's not really a big of a deal. And you were mentioning it earlier. There's a really tight frag discrepancy for Riot. Like you see, the highest is 11, the lowest is 7. That's pretty good. And you see the same on this and that. Aside from an outlier, which I did not mention, Sorb only has 1 frag, and that is not what you want, especially with a game that it could potentially be much tighter than what it is.
Well, the only player in B will fall, and the other thing that I was kind of going for when I mentioned it is, prior to that kill in this round, everybody had the same number of kills. There were 2 players with 10, 1 player with 11, 1 with 7, and then it was the 8 and 1 that was the big outliers. And they were the 2 bottom frags, the 1 and 2 that I mentioned before. They are going to be able to find some kills, though. Fairly clean. 1 player did fall, but still, just pistols, not able to do much of an impact. But that's the thing, is it was that 1 bottom fragger and Olaf picking up 5 kills since I mentioned it, whereas Sorb hasn't gotten any. And now you've noticed that Riot, they are swinging it fairly heavily.
Indeed, and Wrath did get a party gift on the Tom. That is a P250 right to the face. And Wrath did take a lot of damage from the explosion, but is trying to get his hands on a weapon. Can he actually get one? No, he can't. And well, Wrath might be a little bit disappointed that he wasn't able to scavenge the only member that went down, Gunlock. Scavenge their weapon and maybe have it for themselves. It would have made it a lot easier for this and that going into this round, but we are going into round number 14, and we have all rifles across the board, aside from Olive, who does have the AWP to hand.
Again, though, this is slower play from Riot Gaming. Once again, Tom trying to grab some of that control up Banana. He's being a big proponent of it, and he might have better success, especially since Paris is rotating through the Church of Bugalugs, just falling back into sight on B. However, the Banana players not putting too much weight through. It's in fact out mid where a lot of these players have gone. Death hiding in the corner, may be able to catch them with their back turn. They check it, line up, he finds both of them. Beautiful from Death. Not going to be able to fall back though. Jabo's got that kill. 2 still on the A-bomb site. Be a 2-on-2 when they elect to hit there.
It may actually be a little bit of a patience game for Riot now, and they may have to either try and keep the CTs in place or just go at the A site with strength of numbers. Looks like they're wanting to do that, especially with that frag from Olive. And maybe trying to get a second with the Deagle into the site, ends up taking out Wrath as well. So with the A site completely cleared out, and this is that a little bit slow on the turn, Riot Gaming have the chance to get a 10th. And it's up to Sorb and Paris to try and ruin that outcome. It looks like they want no part of it. They're backing all the way away out of the B site. It's far too valuable what they have. They have a HE, M4s each, and they both have armor as well. So it'll be a 10th round for Riot going into the last. And just having a quick squeeze at this and that's economy, they'll be buying up heavily around these 2 M4s.
Yeah, you can see Sorb sitting deep in the Church of Bugalugs, buying into the religion, sitting there hoping it keeps him alive as the hunt comes forth. The 3 members of Riot Squad rolling in. Will they find anybody? And it's actually going to be Jabo to fall. So no one taken away from that save. They had the money, of course, Riot Gaming do to give that one away. So no real loss there. And now this and that for the last round of the half. Pair of FAMASs, pair of M4s, and a UMP. Not quite ideal. Riot having so much money, they can just waste the Zeus. Why not?
Why not indeed? A little bit of lightning. Yeah, never hurt anybody. Well, there are people in other games that have Tesla cans that would say otherwise. Jabba really got aggressive up towards top mid and actually got a little bit of damage onto Death as well, which will make the jobs even easier for the AKs moving forward. But Rat is in Boiler and actually gets the first say. Layers is no longer a concern. And this and that. They have the man advantage early on. Not anymore, though.
Olaf. I thought that was weird that he was just swinging out with the AWP, but it worked for him. This time, though, Death chimes in again with the 2K. He's been rock solid for his team, pacing them at 14 and 12. Now it's a 2 versus 4. What can Gunluck and Tom pull off here? This last round of the half, Gunluck's got the first kill. Didn't quite spot out the player in pit. Took a ton of damage off of that one, and now it's just him. And Death embraces him with the sweet embrace of Death. That will be half. 10-5. Riot Squad have the lead.
I actually kind of dig that you're calling them Riot Squad as opposed to Riot Gaming, because they are a squad of 5 as opposed to a squad of 3. Either way, at the change, 10-5 for Riot. They go onto the counter-terror side, and well, I feel this is definitely not over, and it could actually change. Given how much Inferno has actually changed, it's a lot more skewed to the terrorists than it used to be in terms of its old iterations.
Yeah, it's one thing I'm kind of surprised by, to be fair, is you see games like, I think back to the Face It Major, we had that insane game between Liquid and Astralis showing why they're two of the best in the world, where I think the halves were like 13-2 and 14-1 for the T sides. It's almost like the two best teams in the world forgot how to play CT or something. No, it's just the way that this Inferno can be played. You can just put up absolutely ungodly halves on it, and you have to be favoring Riot Gaming as they swap over to CT because of that.
Perhaps. And with the timeout expiring and the countdown still in effect, the second half of this first map of this best of 3 series is underway, and Riot Gaming have 4 members armored up, and Gunlock being your kit and Smokeman, and the entirety of this and that are armored up to the nines, and Gunlock could be in for a rude awakening if he's not careful, and did end up going back just in the nick of time, and it looks like a death ball of this and that has arrived on the B side. They want to take it by any means necessary.
There's a 3-man unit sitting in that site. However, Jabbo, he's going to fall, trying to pinch them up. Banana, fall back towards the A bomb site is where this and that are going. It's only going to be Olaf waiting there, and oh, he just walks right into Paris. A's fallen. This is going to be a very tough round for Riot to win.
And the good thing about Riot, they were wanting to use the bunny system, but poor Gunlock did end up going down. Did get avenged by Tom, but he is all that's left, and Paris has gone hunting, and after getting 2 frags very early on, you can't really blame the guy. But still will get the final say there with a Glock headshot to Tom, and well, this and that, they could definitely mount a comeback from here, given the next 2 rounds go off with well, relative ease.
This is an interesting buy from both sides. Couple Deeks, couple 5.7s and a UMP versus 4 SMGs and an AK. SMGs could actually get absolutely farmed by some of these pistols if they're not careful. Breakthrough from Wrath might get caught out. Olaf, ooh, he took so much damage there though. And they might catch him.
There he goes.
Kobe!
4-3 down the hatch. And Olaf is now riding the pine for the next 1 minute 20 seconds or so, and now with that big threat off the table, looks like the submachine guns of this and that are just wanting to farm that sweet coin. Exactly what will happen, and now it is only Layers and Tom against, well, now 4 after Tom did get engaged on, but he took a lot of damage. He's actually lucky to be alive after that.
And he's actually still staying in a fairly aggressive spot. This could be a mistake. We do know how dangerous one UMP can be if they aren't looking the right way. I don't like his chances of surviving here, though, whatsoever.
Layers being extremely passive, just hanging in the apartments. He might get engaged upon from the apartments, but Layers is pretty sure in the angle and didn't actually fall asleep at the wheel. So Layers did get the frag and picked up a UMP for his troubles, but his comrade Tom did end up going down. Well, that's about the limit of casualties you'd want for this and that. So if they don't lose any more, it's going to be pretty good setup. We could basically have a brand new game coming into rounds 4, 5, and then onward from there.
Oh, we got a lot of HEs though. A lot of HEs are going to be coming down mid and banana. How many are going to be caught here? A lot of damage done. No one will fall, though. That took a ton of it. And instead, it is just going to be the farm starting to come through. Molly going in. Oh, Nezzy's in trouble. Will he die? No, he gets the kill onto Olaf. That was hairy for him. Ace is still sitting there with the UMP. He might be able to find that singular kill. No, he's dead as well. And now it's just Tom hiding in pit all alone. Well, he's got his tears with him. And the trusty dusty USP.
You know,
That's still
Heckler,
sad, though.
you do know Heckler McCall can make plenty of good weapons. There are plenty that feature in the game. The UMP-45, the USP, the MP5. But none of them will help him here. And Paris will get the last frag with the Kalashnikov there. And 10-8 in favor of Riot Gaming. But this and that, showing good poise on the T side thus far, and we go into a full buy on both sides. And it'll be nothing but rifles. We don't have any snipers or scoped weapons or anything of the sort to hand. It'll just be a flat-out gunfight and the usage of utility. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Those HEs hurt, and we
270 damage off nades, Cyberways. 270.
You never hear of that much consistency from any type of utility in this game. That is insane. And well, that's basically put this and that on the back foot and boxed in, looking at their positions. They're a man down, and well, they have nowhere to go. Obviously, Riot don't know where the rest of them are located, but this series of nades from this and that might actually give the game away, and Riot could be making the call for backup very, very shortly if Jabbo doesn't hold the line. He does do so thus far, taking out 2, but ends up being overrun by death. Now at 3 versus 2, but there is one coming through the church.
Well, retake will start to come in momentarily here. Tom, though, we might not expect the player pushing through. Oh, it's going to be caught right in the side of the head. Tom sitting so deep, leaves it just in the 1 versus 3 right now for death. What can he find? Not going to be looking at the player that comes out to him, though. Lace gets the kill. 11th round for Riot. Large part due to those massive HEs doing 270 damage. When you can do that without even seeing a player, you should win the round.
Yeah, shrapnel hurts. Pineapples hurt. And Riot basically put that mantra on display for the rest of us to see, and we bravely sacrifice our producers' ears as a result. Sorry, Mitch. Not sorry. And at any rate, curious choice. I'm always curious about this. Sorb is elected to go with the AWP on T's side, and in a lot of instances, it's not usually that good, but more HE damage coming both ways. A lot less than last round, but still being a playing factor.
Cerberus, I'm with you. I'm not a huge fan of it. However, Sorb, he only has 1 kill. Anything you can get to have him start going. If he needs the AWP to find a kill, I'm all for it. You need to get this player starting to frag out if you want to win this game. 1 in 12 is not good enough, and the AWP may be the answer to that. You've got to try something.
Very true, and especially when the game is actually this tight, you do have an opening to get into it. Gotta do whatever it takes. You got a point. You definitely do have a point. Anyway, Olive having a look down mid, it actually gets Paris to fall to his knees and backs off with barely a scratch. So Ryder on the man advantage going into 45 seconds left in round number 5, and Death throwing the AK over the fence. Definitely not wanting it to go over to the side of Riot Gaming.
Slowly but surely, TNT moving their way up towards Banana, trying to get that dynamite planted. Jabo and Gunlock sitting deep in the site. Jabo's changing his positioning, and as the hit comes in, that might be poorly timed. Will lead him to be smoked and mollied off. Molly's down as well. Gunlock's actually okay from this, though. They may overlook this position. Peeking out right now. Time is low. Oh, but they're going to find both kills. They should be able to get the bomb down unless he can get denied. Cannot, and this is going to be an explosive round for TNT. Place 1 versus 5. Oh, he'll fall. Wow.
Explosive in every sense of the word in terms of their initials. And then the players start onto the B side. Despite having the man advantage, Riot just got completely blindsided and run over by the attack and this and that. Did not even get I believe they only got 1 reply frag in amongst that entire take there. And, well, as a result, the gap is now 2, and, well, Riot's economy, well, what economy? It's in shambles.
Well, there's been a little bit of damage exchanged to both sides. Pretty even. Slight edge to Riot. These pistols, I mean, we've seen the miracles of the Deegs. Well, I mean, can they work out? Like, this is so tense. I mean, there's a window here. Olaf eating perpetual flashbang kind of shortens the window. Peeks out though, will fall. Gun locked down as well. That window is quickly snapping shut. Crossfire in mid though. Jabo's gonna find the first one. Can he get the second? You better believe it. Lace gets one as well. All of a sudden, man advantage for the Riot squad. It is just Sorb, the man who has only 4 kills. He started to heat up, but now that he's got the AWP. Looking the wrong way, though. Has the bomb. 1 versus 2. Jumping into apps here. Tom has the AK on balcony. Will Sorb be able to find anything here? Cyberwaste, this is so tense. Slowly inching his way forward. He's looking around. Will he overlook this app spot? Better believe it. And that is a stolen round for Riot Gaming. Oh my, those Deagles. We said there was a chance, Cyberwaste. I didn't really believe my words. I should have.
They made you eat the humble pie really, really quick. And it showed time and again the potency of the power pistols, especially in this region, in this tier. And Wrath already getting a love tap too. That's not going to help things for this and that, and well, it's going to make the jobs easier for all the weaponry for these side of this and that, and well, it's going to be a lot harder now with 2 members on 45 HP. It'll make the job a lot easier for the Clarion at the very least. And Paris just got obliterated by the AWP. And, well,
Olaf on 4, look at this.
Oh, Olive, what are you doing, mate? Another one, and just pick him without a care in the world. Just truly be feeling confident, knowing how Riot has played after that round. I do not blame him in the slightest.
You can tell he's got a little bit of confidence. Jabo sitting on the edge of the smoke is very good as well. Ooh, he's going to get dinked up quite heavily, though. Taken through the wall by the AK. He'll be smoked off. We'll drop a smoke down of his own. Pull a rotate over. This hit will continue to come through. Olaf with another shot. Not quite able to land that next one. Whoops out the Deagle. Will hit one more. Just needs the last one for the ace. Got the player in the sight. Tapping through with the Deagle. Can he find the ace? I want him to. Death might have other options. He will rip the headshot with the FAMAS. 30 shot, 1 versus 3 though. The ace for him. Not going to be able to find it. Will fall. 13th round for Riot Gaming.
Huge 4K there for Olaf. I can tell he really wanted the ace, but after getting tagged up, he's just like, no, I just want to win the round now. And just do whatever it takes. And that is exactly what did transpire. And this and that, they're running out of tickets into the carnival. They do have a relative amount of utility, 3 AKs, a ton of flashbang smokes and fire bombs or molotovs. And the only outlier there will be the UMP of Sorb, and well, Sorb's been a little bit of an anchor in the grand scheme. You see the frag distribution, he is the huge outlier on 4 frags to his name. We do have frags traded back and forth. We're still at a 4 versus 4, but Jamo is making sure it stays in the right gaming's favor and did bag himself one.
Another kill from Tom as well. He'll be quickly traded out. However, still all these kills and all the advantages are quickly regained by Riot Gaming. Lace getting the last one as well. 2 rounds away from them closing out map 1 of this best of 3. Of course, it is a best of 3. Next map will be Dust 2. And if we need it, we will go to Mirage. It's our tiebreaker.
Indeed, and for this you'll be playing for a potential spot in the next season of the Mountain Dew League. So you do have a lot to play for, and winning this game will do a huge part in getting yourself back to the show. And Death just ate all the names of the world. I hope you like metal in your teeth, because Death's got a ton of it and is down to 5 HP, which, well, very much limits This Is That's options.
They are starting to run through. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on Gunluck. He's falling back. He's got a player backing up by Arches as well. And this push slowed down a little bit, allowing Tom to find the first kill. Lace backing him up, has one as well. Lace will fall. This is going to be so very tough now for This and That. In Gunluck, he's got one. Make that 2 for him. Tom had 2 as well, completely shutting it down, and now we are on map point for Riot Gaming. Squad trying to put This and That through a table and end the match.
They definitely do want to, well, ring the bell of the first stanza of this series, and This and That. They want to bring as much as they can, but with their economic standing, it does not amount to an ideal buy. But in the past, we've seen a lot more with a lot less. But Jello is stepping out into the fire with not a care in the world. We'll take down 2 before the flames consume him, but Gunlock will avenge him and drops the bomb at his feet. So it went from bad to worse for This and That. Now it's on the back of Sil and Paris to try and claw them back.
I hope stream heard what Jabo just said there. But what a badass play from him, just standing in the molly. Lace will find 2 coming up, closes it out. But for lack of a better term, what a big dick play Cyber Waste. Get a molly at your feet, you just stand in it and spray through, kill 2, and give your team a huge advantage. He found it hilarious as well, but just the absolute confidence from that lad to pull that off, that was absolutely monster.
He had no fear at all. He basically turned into it turned into a raid boss, essentially. And I'm not sure if the voice comms actually went through on the stream, because it did not go through for me because of my setup. But I can imagine he basically turned into Diablo and just said, "Come and get me!" and just threw rounds down range. Ended up taking down 2 and had all the confidence in his teammates to finish the job.
So I've gotten permission from my producer to say this. I'm not usually one for profanity, but I gotta embrace the inner Aussie here. He basically was just laughing his ass and said, "Get wrecked, cunts." And it was absolutely flawless as that round went on. I had to take time to just absolutely laugh so hard, because that's just like the perfect walk-off.
It was essentially, it's the CS version of a bat flip after a huge play. And knowing that now, I don't blame him in the slightest. And with that much confidence and that much swagger, Riot are now 1 map up in this series. A 16-9 victory on Inferno, and we will be traveling to Dust 2 for the second map of this relegation set for the ESEA Mountain Dew League, powered by CappingTV. My name is Justin Lute, aka Cyber Waste. My co-caster is Dreamboats, aka Mr. Graham Morrison. We shall return very shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I am Graham Dreamboat Morrison, joined by Justin Cyberwaste Lutz here for map 2 of Riot Gaming versus this and that. Riot Gaming, the squad took the first map, 16-9, fairly dominantly over on Inferno, but we're here on Dust 2 now. And Sorb's AFK. That is going to be the delay, just waiting for him to get back to where he once belonged and where he should be onto the CT side. And then we'll be able to get away with things. And hopefully, it's not a bad idea for him to take a bit of a break here, draw it out a little bit, just because Riot Gaming, I mean, they looked on fire. You saw the confidence they played with at the end of that map, having one of their players standing in a Molotov and committing to it, spraying through and finding 2 kills, just speaks to the level that they were firing off at the end of that first map. So taking a little bit of a longer gap until getting into the second one might be a smart play by this and that, to cool themselves, to try and cool down Riot Gaming, and also see if Sorb can't kind of break the funk he was in.
Maybe this could be the tide that turns. And a good thing to note, we did not know this at the start of the set, but we do know how the picks actually went out. So Riot first removed Keish, and then Nuke was removed from the pool by this and that. Well, that's pretty standard. And then Riot picked Inferno, which would give a lot more clarity to how that map shook out. And then we have this and that picking this map, which is Dust 2. And then Train was removed by Riot, Overpass was removed by this and that, and Mirage was chosen as the deciding battleground by a process of elimination. So maybe that could give a lot more credence to breaking a funk, which Saw was in, because he didn't even break double digits, if memory serves, and that's tough.
Yeah, it's always a rough spot to be sitting in a series when I genuinely think he had like 5 kills by the end of that first map, and that was a lengthy game. It's always rough to see that be the case. You always hope for something better, and maybe Dust 2 is the solution. It's a map that was played a good chunk by this and that over the course of the regular season. I think it popped up 4 times, and they happened to win 3 of them, and the one loss was 16-14, so it's a map they're clearly very adept at, although they did also play Inferno a good chunk.
Well, yeah, stick to what you know. That's the old mantra, as it were. And still, we're just really waiting for this next map to get underway, and this and that, taking as much time as possible to recenter and come back in with a new frame of mind. And unless I'm being lied to, it would appear that the member that is named on the server, Paris, may actually be Kyoto. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Should I say that one more time? I was trying to read up on map pools, just checking something.
Paris on Team This and That. That may be a new alias for the man named Kyoto.
That could be. That is a thing that could be the case. Let me go to his ESEA profile. I'm actually on their team page right now. That's convenient. No, he's been Paris for a very long time.
So one of our information sources has been a bit of a confusing
by a long
stand.
time. I'm on his history page, and the only aliases I could see are Paris, Pococo, Ziziperus, and Paris. So
okay, maybe this and that is bringing a ringer. But
although he changed Paris late December 2017, so he's only used that alias for a year. I just can't see anything before that. Because ESEA, their website can be like weird when it comes to histories like that.
Yeah, that's true. But what's not weird is the potential action that could be on offer for us in the second map of this best of 3 in the Mountain Dew League relegation sets, and a best of 3 series between Riot Gaming and this and that. And Riot Gaming will be your defenders, and your attackers will be this and that. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and my co-caster is Graham, aka Dreamboat.
Well, we are into the pistol round here, this and that, looking to fly right out. Well, I say fly. Looks like they slowed it down. They are grouped up towards there, but look at the push quickly coming through from Riot Gaming. They've rushed tunnels. They're coming right back around. And the players of this and that, because they are all grouped out long, could actually get completely caught and completely stuffed here. Because look at the rotates. There's going to be 4 people in this site by the time they all get here. Potentially 5. We may see them elect to fall back. Oh, they are falling back, and that's incredibly smart.
Death did not like what he saw. He saw the sliver of a couple of bodies of the members of Riot Gaming and just said, nope, I don't want any part of it. There's already damage exchange, and they're just wanting to run through mid of the members of this and that, and it looks like it's just going to be an all-out brawl on both sides, and this and that are definitely coming out stronger for it, and now it's Gunlock in a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, it was, that could have gone incredibly poor for them. Instead, it went absolutely brilliantly.
Maybe that just shows perhaps impatience on the part of this and that, or just a precursor to how they want to play this map, perhaps extremely aggressive. And well, their buy is definitely indicating of that. You see three MAC-10s and 1 Galil and the Scout there, and the Scout did prove to great effect by eliminating Gunlock. It looks like the B side is basically just going to be rushed down and seized by the T side. And just rolling through the motions now, and now it's only Tom left standing, and well, the side of this and that, they know that they've basically got nothing to lose now, and they just want to line the coffers, and that's exactly what they will do. Paris will get a frag to his name with the MAC-10 and get himself a bit more money. Actually goes first frag of the game with that one.
Also, looking even deeper into your situation of aliases, Paris is literally on that page that says they have Kyoto as well. Kyoto, though, is Wrath.
Ah, okay. That'll be good for future notes, but we will still refer to him as Wrath because that's what it says on the spectator overlay. And Ryan are really laying the hammer down. To their benefit, though, on the side of this and that, they have seized the B's site. Yeah, the bomb is down, but it could get extremely hairy if either side are not careful. And this site is really tough to retake. It may be one of the toughest in the entire map pool to try and retake. And Riot are really going to have to solve this Rubik's Cube quickly and get into the site.
Well, it's a 1 versus 1. Looking around for the kill. Paris will find it. Winning the duel with Gunlock. Puts them up 3-0. This and that. Off to a good start. Will continue. Sorb actually off to the great start. 5-1. I think that's as many kills as he had last map. And that is the encouraging sign.
Very, very much so. And a double orb on the side of this and that. They're really wanting to lay the hammer, lay the smacker down on the side of Riot Gaming, especially with AW. I wonder if we'll see the old Musketeer lineup that Fnatic did way back in the day. Maybe that will be a factor, but that's a little bit too far in the future. Olaf will not be too much avail. And Gunlock did end up getting 1 frag, and Jabba actually claiming another. Ryan actually stringing this back. This and that could be in panic mode. They definitely are now. Jello just ruled the site with an iron fist and no, this is my neck of the woods. Don't you dare step to me. And in the most unlikely of circumstances, Riot Gaming are on the board, and this and that we'll have to wonder what on earth happened.
Debo was literally like 2 operas were staring him down on Cat. He peeks out, hits one of them 3 times with a deke, turns around and 1 deeks the other one. Oh, he does fall to an opera this time. Although he had an auto sniper, it wasn't likely to win that duel. To get the tag in. However, the hit towards B looks where it will be coming. Smoke will go down. Flashbangs through. Lace peeks out, finds the first kill. Looking for anything else. Not able to find any more. Will fall. Oh, flashbangs. Brilliant, though. Gunlock gets 1. Quickly traded back. 2 versus 3 right now. And Olaf getting a nice shot through the door. Them maybe want to go for the retake. And a little bit of dissension in the ranks. They're being told not to peek that, as the shot was a beautiful one by Olaf through the door.
Rat really watching over the hole in the wall and making Olaf pay for trying to pick that. Now it's only Tom in a 1 versus 2. HE will actually go out and miss the mark, but Paris will finish his food there and put the AK to work. And, well, just like that, Riot's glory is taken away. And they are reset. But they can buy in looking at Gunlock's totals.
So I'm a little bit concerned that Jabo, like when he bought the auto sniper, he meant to buy an op and it was a misbuy. And I mean, he certainly cost a lot for that one. Pressure out long here. Gunlock's in a lot of trouble. He may not be able to fall away. Oh, just gets around the corner in the nick of time.
That might have actually springed the ears of this and that, though. And that may be the cue just to run it down. And and Gunlock trying to take advantage of the gap in the smoke of the cross and does it up, taking out one. But Olive is the first member of Riot to actually fall. So now we are in a 4 versus 4, but the positional advantage is ever so slightly into the T's, and it will go even further in their favor now that the bomb is down. Riot has to make the next move, and given how much has been invested, this might be the call to fall off, unless a frag falls in their favor.
These are looking. Lace might be able to find somebody slowly inching his way up towards this site. There's 2 players ready to come out for exits as well. There's a chance. I don't know what Lace is waiting for him. I think he might actually die here. Well, Tom is the first one to fall. Oh, he's pinching it! He's taking this. He doesn't have time, though. Oh, that's so sad. If he had a kit, he had that.
That was the thing I was actually going to mention. The AWP is carried over on the back of Gunlock, which is 1 saving grace, but if a kit was invested in, that could have made things a lot more different for Riot Gaming, but that relies so much more on the player being positioned correctly, the kit dropping in a favorable spot should the kit carrier go down. So maybe too much riding on it and too much of a risk there, but I mean, if you want to, there'd be no harm in doing it. But now, just a full-blown rush onto the B site. And Leia's actually by the car. He's gotten one with the USB and did bring death down quite low. And this scavenged op could actually pay off huge.
Oh, through the door! What? The quick scope from Gunlock, and now he's got the USP out. These rounds that Riot have won, these 2 rounds, they shouldn't win. There's no way, but they keep going Riot's way. What the hell, Cyber Waste? This game's breaking me, dude.
I wish I could give you a different view or a different insight, but, well, I guess yet again their namesake of a team is living up to their name, because Riot's usually result of anarchy, and that's exactly the type of play that they are doing. Just reckless abandon. It's paying off. Well, it's paid off twice, but if Riot really wants to be serious about this map and closing the series 2-0, they're really going to have to take advantage of these gun rounds, and, well, this could be their way into closing the gap. Lots of this and that members are gathering outside of short, though. A lot of fire exchange, too. Just basically lots of rounds expunged, but no damage exchange. But this Molotov from Gunlock could pay off big. If not into doing damage, but could be denying real estate, because a lot of the members are gathered outside of short where that Molotov was going to drop.
A lot of players grouped up on Cat right now for this and that. All the way through, slowly inching their way forward. Olaf in a great spot with the AWP. Will connect on the first kill, taking down Wrath. Now, fall back down around a mid is where it looks like this and that want to go. Smoke will be good. Gunlock might actually just pop his way through this. Looks like he wants to go. Double flash it come through. Peeks out. Unable to find kills, though. Well, it is all on the 2 players in the bomb site. He's sitting right below this window. Might be able to find something to jump up, sprays through. It's actually Jabo to get that kill. Another player is over the top there, looking around. Will fall. Lace! Oh, the spray transfer was crisp. Finds a pair of them. It's a 3rd round for Riot Gaming.
And normality is starting to be restored, and Leia's basically held down that side like a turret, not without a ton of assistance from the other members of Riot, just relaying info that was relevant to holding that one down. And in round number 9, this and that are completely broken in terms of money, as in we don't have any. We paid with these guns with the lint in our pockets, and the only power pistols they have to hand are a P250 and a CZ. And knowing how long of a range you really need to engage properly on a lot of dust too, that could be a detriment. But then again, it could bring death to someone, and more importantly, a weapon to the side of this and that. That would be a very valuable asset.
I'd like to, just before this round gets too deep in, take this time to give you some breaking news. Kerrigan has been benched from FaZe Clan.
Ooh, that's huge. We'll have to dig through that a little bit more and a little bit later on, because that is huge. I remember it was a huge, large profile signing, and now I remember in his signatures too, it was styled as a carry again, and then he's the first to hit the pine. So who knows? In terms of the game at hand, though, Riot survive with only 55 damage lost. That is all to Jabo. So now the gap is 1. And, well,
Yeah, where I got that information from is a tweet from Kerrigan saying, "Benched. We'll write a longer statement at another point. If any orgs are interested, contact FaZe."
Oh, could be a little bit of tension in the FaZe camp.
And then FaZe CS:GO update. Today, Kerrigan is benched with immediate effect. More news to follow. Stay tuned, folks. And happy Counter-Strike news. As Sorb is the first to fall in this round. Looks like the hit will be towards long, though. Olaf lying in wait with an AWP.
Well, with a round so pivotal and already having a man down, Sorb, definitely not wanting to leave any stone unturned, and hopefully trying to catch Riot out of position at the very least, and just wanting to really favor long, it would seem, and wanting to make their way out.
Slowly they inch their way forward. Timing on this is going to be so huge. No one's really looking at it. May just be completely caught. All right. Oh, I think Unlock just saw the shoulders, though. He's aware now. And Olaf with the AWP finds one. Looking for more. Anything that he can find. Gunlock sits at the edge of this smoke. No one's come up Cat, so he's going to change his focus to the site itself. I don't know if they expect him to be right there. This could be so huge. This is so massive. What a big baller. We'll finally find that kill. Flicks over, but still we'll find it. Brings it down to a 1 versus 2. Going for the plant. Jump up shots trying to come in, trying to connect. They're not going to be able to. And Lace will find the headshot. 5-5. All right, Gaming, tie it up.
And that power play was so huge from going, just having such strong trigger discipline. If you saw the first play just sort of emerge, you'd really want to let go, but he bided his time, let the fight sort of envelop and waited for his perfect time to strike. And well, he's rewarded him and his team with a round win and an even scoreline. And Olaf extremely far forward, looking towards the lower tunnels to claim one frag before backing off. The Jabo will be there to tag out and take the rest of it. And that's exactly what it will do. And still just got an orb shot right through the door. That hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, the big tag does a lot of damage. Now just 3 left alive. Going towards B, being pressured. Sprayed at quite heavily, so this is a very awkward round for this and that to try and pull off. I'm not sure how I feel about their chances here, Cyberwaste.
Could just be a call to either try and scavenge weapons and hang on to the armor, or just go hellbent for leather and see what happens. Just make things a lot more expensive for Riot Gaming, because aside from Olaf and well Jabo, might not be in as good of a save. But speaking of Jabo, claims to as easy as you like and has the third lying in wait, and that will be the end of that. And Riot are now on the winning side of things. They lead 6-5 going into round number 12.
And the thing is you have to like what Riot are doing. Yeah, they got their backs against the wall, but they stole 2 demoralizing pistol rounds, and you can already see that starting to settle in for this and that. When you lose the rounds that you should win for sure, you start to question everything, and because of that, Riot, I mean, they're pulling it out. They've done a lot of damage. These nades are good, although towards mid, Jabba will fall. 3 of them land at his feet. It's finally a man advantage. Can this and that capitalize any further? They are going up cat by the looks of it, where 2 players lie in wait. One is also long. It could be a real nuisance in this round.
An absolute pain. And it's going to make things a lot worse with the Gunlock no longer on the field. And just looking at this and that setup, if Olive doesn't go off, this could be a round 1. He's already been digged as well. So that's made things a lot more difficult. Got flashed out, whipped the shot. As whipped a second, finally got one on the rat. And whipped another one on the cell. That will prove costly there. And this and that, put the bomb down. 4 members are up. Well, if you're on the side of right, you're left with the choice. Do we just play for X's or do we run for the hill? After that frag though, you might want to hasten your choice. And lay us in a 1 versus 3.
We'll go for the jumping shots on this Opper. Not able to connect though, and the Krieg of Death will take a life away. Things up at 6. If you are just tuning in, this is the second map of Riot versus this and that. Riot have the 1-0 lead after taking Inferno 16-9. I am Graham Dreamboat Morrison, joined by Justin Cyberwaste Lutz here on CappingTV for the ESEA MDL Season 29 Australia Relegations. This is a very, very, very important round right now. Top shots, though, they're not able to connect, though. Lots of damage done with the HEs into the B halls. Death and Paris down at half HP. And now Olaf gonna find that kill. Coming off Cat. That makes things a lot more awkward for this and that.
And especially with the damage exchange very early on, they might be extremely wary now. Now, they might feel a little bit boxed in the tunnel position. There is one via moving towards the spawn. Just running around freely. That is still, I believe, he's looking to move towards bedroom. But for the time being, basically at a stalemate with a man advantage going to Riot Gaming. We're just under 1 minute. And this and that have barely moved. Perhaps it's a sign of contemplation or a sign of a little bit of panic in the camp, and it might be a little bit early for that. Looks like the B hit could be ready to go any moment now. The entire platoon is gathered in the upper tunnels, and the Molotov will go out to clear the long position. And now that might be the cue to go for this and that. That it is. It's up to Riot to hold the line.
Oh, Jabbo in a lot of trouble right now. He does have his players backing him up. Able to find out that shot. Nicely done. Gets a second one, too. That closes it out. All right, I mean, the cavalry just all arrived so quickly and picked off everybody that was there. That was one of the problems that this and that have had at times, is they've been a little bit slow on their hits. The information gained by Riot from some of their aggression has been so huge. And, I mean, as they just walk into that site, there's 3 players in it and 2 players quick on their tails to rotate through. Makes it very hard for you to win that and get the bomb down.
Another HE being chucked up in it. Oh, chunky bit of damage there. Snill taking a ton, and Death looking a little bit worse for wear as well. Hopefully Death won't come to him anytime soon. With the armor though, this and that could be looking at a better step, but not anymore. Lands on the flank of the tunnels. No frags yet until Paris did fall to his hand. But a ton of damage done. Definitely putting this and that on notice. And well, now they're just going through the motions on the side of Riot Gaming, with Gunlock putting the final slug into Sill's temple. 8-6, and well, it's going to be a half defining round for both sides. A 9-6 for Riot at the change, or an 8-7 for this and that. And But this and that and what they've brought into this is a little bit scattered, to say the least.
Keep in mind, too, that this game at one point was 5-1 for this and that. Riot Gaming have just gone on an absolute tear afterwards, winning 7 out of the following 8 rounds. Have to feel confident that they're going to be able to take this half a 9-6 Cyber Waste.
You have to, but then again, anything can happen. Layers has already been tagged down, as a matter of fact, thanks to the scout on the back of Death. So, the damage exchange, did you give it to this and that only just? But in terms of manpower, we are at a dead even standing going into 1 minute 15. And Olaf did end up getting flashed out. Could end up being overrun if the short assault does end up coming, and did get slowed up slightly and still did end up going down, and actually did get thrown out towards short. Paris did end up dropping one of the defenders and making things a lot weaker, and Wrath will do the same, and the tides have turned. This is that have the man advantage and now have the bomb down, and Riot Gaming are really going to have to get a wriggle on.
Gunlock out long could be the interesting spot, but Lace getting absolutely shredded there. Ferris will peek out and find that one, and now it's just Jabo with the AWP. Has to go for it, no reason not to. Last round of the half. I don't like his chances. Peeks out, will get shredded down by Wrath and Death. That will be the half, 8-7. All right, do eke out the lead, though.
We'll see if this and that CT side can be as formidable as Riot's was in the previous 15. They did show sparks of brilliance on both sides, so it could very well be a tight fight to the very end. And, well, that's exactly what you want, especially when you're playing for a spot in the next season of the Mountain Dew League. You have to give everything you got. And, well, if you win now, it's going to make things a whole lot easier as opposed to going down into the losers bracket where you do have the likes of Trident Storm to deal with. I almost called them another team with Storm in it, but they sadly no longer have a team in Counter-Strike. In any case, round number 16 is now in effect, and we have all armor on the CT side, and on the T side we do have one nade man, that being Gunlock as a flash and smoke.
Quick hit though, right? Flying out B right now. Still in Paris, standing tall. Should be able to find the remaining players here, and now it is Gunlock 1 versus 4. Has a Glock in hand, gonna get shredded down. Paris with that kill. 3K for him, or 4K, sorry. Nicely done by him.
Well, that's as easy as you would like, and definitely a statement round there saying, hey, this is why we picked this map. We are tight as a drum. And judging from their buy, they're really wanting to pad the coffers as well. They're well within their right to do that, and it might almost be a necessity to do that because the CT side is that much more expensive, and Death is really being aggressive, going right through bedroom with the MP9, and ends up being rewarded with a frag on the Tom.
Well, Jabo and Olaf, they're still in this fight. They have a chance. It's clocks. There's always the miracle of clocks, right? Well, maybe not, as Death finds Jabo. Olaf walking up Cat. Might actually get a bomb plant. No one's there. I think Wrath is finally starting to piece that together. Sorb might come up Cat behind him. Everyone's so confused as to where Olaf is. Spots out Wrath. There's no way he gets a plane. There's no way, Cyber Waste, that he gets a plane here. Surely.
No
He's gonna
way.
get a
They don't know. He's going for it. He's putting the bomb is actually down, and oh dear, if you're this and that, you would have to be red in the face. You were not expecting that. And yes, he did end up going down, but any injection of money you can get, it's definitely going to be beneficial to your team. And this and that, they're going to be, they're going to be a little bit lemon-faced after that one.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that? What the hell is that? I don't have an answer. How does a guy with no armor and a Glock walk his way onto a bomb site and get a bomb plan? What?
We could spend all night just trying to dissect it and figure it out, but we will still be just as confused. I'm almost certain of that. At any rate,
And somehow Kerrigan getting benched is not the most shocking thing I've seen tonight.
we're gonna keep doing that for hits. Thank you very much. Follow CappingTV and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe with Twitch Prime. At any rate, we do have a buy on both sides, and well, Riot Gaming, even after getting the plant, they're really wanting to make a statement, I'm sure, and just saying, hey, we made you look like a fool last round, and this round we're going to absolutely decimate you. But judging from things so far, they're still in the feeling out phase, and this and that have not really shown their hand.
So I might have an inkling now that he spotted a player. Well, he will come down, force him out, but he still finds a shot onto Lace. Well, if not able to land the shot. However, Tom putting pressure out long, and there's very good damage done as well. A couple of these players are quite hurt, and oh, Jabo, that was a heck of a shot. Now the remaining players are trying to get the bomb across, and Tom's going to find another kill. Bomb still needs to find its way up long, but all these players are falling, and all of a sudden it's just Paris. As Jabo from Cat finds the kill. Bomb will go down. Nice and easy. And Paris, what can he do? What does this man have in him to pull off? Well, I think he's got a save in mind.
Perhaps, yes, you could just tell by his positioning. He might have, well, maybe he didn't even think about it. He looked towards short, trying to think, oh, I might give it a go, but no, he wants no part of it. And, well, knowing Riot Gaming's position, they are in no right and no position to go hunting. So, barring any poor positioning on the side of Riot, we will have 4 survive on the side of the terrace, and on the CT side, we will have Paris and the M4 being carried over. 2K for Tom, 2K for Jabo, and a 9-round game for each side.
This is where you have to be a little worried. I mean, just like at the beginning of this map, where we had this and that win a pistol round, get a few rounds, looked to be in a decent spot. Riot Gaming started to storm back. They started to get on a roll, and they started to close things out. Now we have another pistol round. Again, it went this and that's way, and then Riot Gaming have started to answer back. This could be where they drive themselves to the close of this series. They already took the first map, 16-9. Does not have the same number of rounds that they got in the first one. But I almost, maybe it's just my spidey senses tingling. But I've got an inkling that the Riot Squad are about to just start rolling here, Cyber Waste.
Perhaps that last round could have been the sign of the momentum changes. So already being engaged upon and did get slightly tagged, but Paris will do him one better and eliminate Gunlock. Yeah, a small bit of damage is great, but it's better if you can bag yourself a frag. And Paris does demonstrate that, and that could basically put the zone of tunnels, both upper and lower, into a no-pass zone for Riot Gaming. They've effectively been shut out of there. And looking from their position on the side of Riot Gaming, they're really wanting to get a wriggle on, and Tom's not really helping with the bomb being so far behind, but there is one going in the favor of Riot. That might be all they're able to muster. Riot are running out of lives. Now the Sharks are starting to circle, and that will be the end of that. 2K for death there. And this and that, still holding on to the lead. Finally.
Look at the money, though. It's not great. Okay, there's the drop over. I was worried for a second that Sora was only going to be stuck on CZ. Still, though, money's not very large for either team. Paris is the only one really sitting comfy for anybody. This is a very big round, and it's going to be very fast out B as well. Sill's going to be sitting by car. Flashbang comes in. It's good, but he only manages to find one. Bomb site has fallen. Might be able to get this bomb down. HE, though, very nicely done. That was about 50 to Tom. Bomb is going to start to be planted, but the retake starting to come forward. Molotov drops. Unable to force anybody out. Sorb caught out from tunnels, and that's where a player is sitting. Now, 3 trying to enter this B bomb site through the CT side. And the smokes and nades and mollies are so strong, pushing them all back. Flashbangs as well. This retake getting absolutely stunted. Jabbo pushes out window, finds a pair, and now it's just Wrath 1 versus 3. Flashed again, trying to fall back. Looks like he will. He's gonna try and hang on to his gun, save his life. And Alace, he's too strong, catches that out. But a beautiful pop flash for Jabbo to come through window. That was massive as he managed to find that 2K. And a 10th round for Riot. Every time this and that seemed to win a round. Next one goes Riot's way. Doing such a good job of resetting their economy.
And it's a huge boon too, because we did mention it earlier. The CT side, you need a lot more coin to mount up a defense. With weapons being more expensive, you need defuse kits as well and things like that. The expenses really pile up, and if the T's keep you down, it's going to be even tougher to mount a proper defense. And yet again, that last round as well showed the weight of utility. The pop flash that enabled Jabbo to get 2 frags. And speaking of Jabbo, he meets his demise with a 50 action express right between his eyelids. And Riot cannot let this and that get away with this. They've been shrunk down to a 1 versus 4 with barely a buy. Look how much value this and that have gotten out of it. They've picked up 3 AKs to their name. And they've regained the lead once more. And Riot are going to be left confused and perhaps a little bit bewildered.
This is where, if I had a GIF to react to this one, Cyberwaste, you know that Corey Graves GIF where he just flips his pen and walks away?
Yes.
Almost at that point here, because, like, what? That's not a round that you should win. You shouldn't be able to recover 3 AKs. You shouldn't be able to just mow down 3 people trying to come out long. This and that. I mean, they've got luck on their side. They've got skill on their side. Everything's starting to go right. I might have jinxed Riot Squad.
You might just do. All it is tags, but no frags for the side of Riot Gaming. Now it's only Jabbo in a 1 versus a lot of this and that members. Did end up taking out 1. That was one of the ones with high HP. So it's a start, but it's still a long way to go. A lot of time and a lot of angry CTs looking for you, and looks like Death will bag his captor. And, well, this and that are going to start to run away with this, and Riot, you can't buy in. You're going to have to eco. And Tom, my boy, 6 and 15 with two assists. That is not the line you want, especially going into the late stages.
Yeah, no, it is Glocks as well. I mean, they're hoping for the miracle of walking up Cat with the USP and getting a bomb down. I don't see that happening. They are trying to walk up Cat. Olaf will be shut down by Wrath. And this is looking like this and that might just be able to cruise towards the end of this map. I thought right, honestly, we're going to take this. But we may be going to Mirage. We may be going to our 3rd map, Cyberwaste.
If it keeps going like this, it'll definitely go to Mirage, and momentum will definitely be in the favor of this and that. There will be, if it keeps going like this, they'll be going in off a hot streak and going into basically a mutual ground, which is, well, tried and true in a lot of regions of Counter-Strike. Mirage is one of the maps that everybody knows like the back of their hand. But Riot Gaming are definitely wanting to put a stop to that, and this could be one of their last chances to stay in this map and wanting to wrap up this set in 2 maps as opposed to 3. And it's off to a rough start. Tom already getting a HE thrown at him, and that will make the M4's job a little bit easier should he engage with Sorb or Paris.
Well, slow and steady play from Riot Gaming, trying to decide where they want to go, how they want to do this. HE up Cap might just go a little bit too far. In fact, it will just do a single tick of damage to Gunlock. That's not particularly any info to be gained there. 3 players are in the A-bomb site. Looks like that's where Riot want to go. They seem to hit their shots, aim true, find those nice openers.
Looks like Riot are stepping out onto the cat and onto the A site. Sorb is there to greet them. Does get one before being traded out by Layers, and Jabbo does get rid of Death, and Riot are really starting to come back to life. Still is going to try and be the disturbance. Does get one, and it buys enough time for Paris to try and come to assist. And with that actually going down, it could actually pinch right to the point of losing this round. But now we are in a 2 versus 2. The bomb's on the back of Gunlock, and now the side of this is at a play for a retake, but it could come at a wild cost.
Oh, but that kill is so huge. Tom getting still, and now it leaves just Paris. He's dinked up in, gonna be cleaned up by Gunlock. Couple headshots through the box, closes it out. 11 Riot, they may be down, but they are not out by any stretch of the imagination. 5 rounds is what they need to end this series. In that, they only need 3 to force Mirage.
And this is going to be a true test for everyone involved. We do see Jabba being a little bit shortchanged. He does have a little bit of utility, but has had to downgrade to the Galil. HG thrown out towards upper tunnels. Does not claim that much, and a second one will follow. And on the side of this and that, sticking to what they know, they have 2 on A, 2 on B, and 1 floating all the way forward, and Tom not having a good day of it. Wrath will put him out of the round. This orb can actually hold a lot of value. It already has, as a matter of fact, claiming both the frags thus far in round number 10 of the second half. And Riot are really wanting to either isolate that or just wanting to go elsewhere, but they're running out of chances.
They're swinging back towards B, spot out a player, find the kill, quick trade comes through. A lot of damage has been done to 3 of these players, meaning that there is a chance. It's a long shot, a lot to ask, and the double molly going into the same spot, a little bit questionable. They just need to try and get this bomb down, and the op shot through the door rips Jabbo's life away. Now Olaf, 1 versus 4, he'll go down. 2 rounds is what this and that need to force Barrage. And there is no money for Riot. They are forcing up.
Yeah, and as you did mention, that could have been one of the contributing factors there. A little bit of miscommunication. Both of them throwing the same nade into the same position. They were both going towards the window. There were the 2 Molotovs there, and they do not stack damage, sadly. So it was a little bit of a waste.
That'd be kind of a neat idea if they did stack damage. Like, could just absolutely annihilate someone.
There's another game with fire damage. If that ended up happening, it would have been just cries of anarchy all over the place. At either rate, Riot is really wanting to do a wrap from mid to B, doing the old classic. And Jabba did end up taking down 1, and Leia does come in to assist with the CZ. And
Jabba gets right through the smoke.
The B-side is C. Jabba has gotten the powers of the M4A4 on his side and has done a lot of work. And now, this and that are definitely on the back foot. Not out of it yet, but Wrath is on an island all of his own now. In a 1 versus 3. And has already been engaged upon from the B side proper. So Wrath of the AWP will have to retreat. And Riot is still living.
Bro,
Mid to B. Trust the process.
They keep playing that long.
This is a round that I mean... This is a round that I didn't think that Riot should have won. And I've said that, I think, 5 times tonight. And Riot have won them all. Their pistol play is on point. It's a massive round. Still, though, they need 4 more if they want to close this out. 3 to force or 3 to get to overtime. Clinch the potential of that. So that need 1 to close overtime, to get to overtime. 2 to win this map. Force Barrage, and it's fast towards B. They're flying out there. Paris is in that site. Player backing him up from doors. They're spraying through. Olaf will find the kill, but still's got a pair. Makes it a 3 versus 3. That's close to the smoke. Might be able to stop this bomb from going down. He's also going to walking right through, but he's caught out. Does a lot of damage, yes, but still it makes it a 2 versus 3 retake. Riot Their B hits have been good, and they found a lot of life off of it. Can Wrath and Sorb retake the Cyber Waste? Can they pull off this miracle round? And it looks like they're going to be running away to save. The money is so poor on their team.
Dude,
They don't really have a choice, and especially with that much value on their back. We have to run down what they have. They have the AWP, which is a huge ticket item. Both have armor, both have kits. A lot of them have utility. There's also the M4 as well. There is no way. And we've said before, the B site is one of the most difficult to retake for a CT, especially with 2 members up and 3 members up for Riot Gaming. So the gap is now 1, and we are basically at a brand new game. Riot are rallying back, and this and that. Oh, they're really left with a tough decision. Do they buy up around the 2 weapons that they've salvaged, or do they just basically take one and let the tie happen?
They will elect to not be forcing up around it, hang on to the 2 guns that they have, and hope that they can make it work. They're pressuring 3 in the B side, expecting that quick hit coming through. Gunlock might be able to catch the player pushing. Death is going to get a lot of information here. We're going to start to see players moving around towards A and mid. As the hit out long starting to come. Flashbang's not good enough. Dink comes through though. However, Lace, AK Dink, is a little bit stronger. Finds that kill. Now the rotates fast around. 3 players trying to fly around this corner. And in fact, look at Riot with the read. They're falling back, falling out of it. And they're going to be wrapping back towards mid and B. Death walking up mid right now should be caught completely with his pants down. In fact, he will be. Mid control completely gamed by Riot Gaming. And now they'll have a completely open B-bomb site as the bomb starts to make its way that way. This is beautiful by them. Huge reads. Great job forcing the rotate. Still going to fall, and now it's Wrath and Paris. A Deegan and Op. What can they pull off, Cyberwiz? Well, the Op won't be able to do anything. It is now just Paris. Riot. They have a new lease on life, new breath of wind. They've come through. Yes, Lace will fall. Over Paris, he's now known will be killed, and we have a tie game against all odds. Riot, they've climbed back in, fought, clawed their way through, and now we're in for a hell of an ending to the second map of this best of 3.
At any rate, no matter how you slice it, we are guaranteed to go the distance of regulation, which is 30 rounds, and it's going to be a true butting of heads and basically a surgical played round there from Riot, especially knowing that the orb was on the field. They basically made it a non-factor, which is a huge thing to do, especially with a weapon with that much power. And Riot,
this is a huge round. Look at the money on this and that. 0, 0, 0, 0, 100. They have nothing. If Riot win this round, they are closing this series out. It's game over. There should be no way that this and that can pull out. If Riot Gaming lose, they don't have a ton of money on a couple other players, but they're at least set to buy into that last one. This is so pivotal. The upshot Wrath, he doesn't connect. Looking out, will miss again. That was a player with his back turned. He needed to find that. We'll find one more, but quickly traded through. Again, it's a 3 versus 3. The trades do favor the T side. There's a couple players towards A, and Lace, he hits another shot. Another kill going down. It's just Death. 1 versus 3. Can he do anything to keep his team alive? He needs to go absolutely massive. Upshot misses the back, but he gets a headshot. Somehow sprays through, but Olaf gets it. 15-14 match point for Riot Gaming, and there's no money for this and that.
they are completely tapped. And Riot have almost booked their ticket to the finals of the tournament, which is against blanking on their name. It was Astral, something really cool, Astral Inversion or something like that. At any rate, this and that have basically cobbled together whatever they could out of basically nothing. You mentioned it off of the break. And Wrath is coming in like a bat out of hell, and an angry man with a UMP-45 and his riddled Tom with bullets. So this is that. Could be on their way to forcing overtime, but Riot's Jamo is definitely having a say in that and will quash Wrath's advance.
4v4, Riot trying to push this to the end, close out the series, and get that match with Astral Influence. Loser will be playing Trident Storm. Loser is not out of this. This is relegation, though. There's a chance. This and that need to do anything they can to force overtime. 4 versus 4, though. slowly allows Riot to get map control, open things up, and find where the weaker bomb site is. 3 of them are towards mid.
Paris could be
Paris sitting on
pivotal
the
here.
other side of the store. This could be huge.
Could be very pivotal if the members of Riot do not check their corners. It doesn't look like they tried to, but failed to do so. Did end up getting 2 did Paris before he perished. Les and Olaf do claim a pair apiece, and the B side's completely seized. And now the bomb on the back of Leas is now dropped into the window. Now on the side proper, the bomb is now down. And now this and that are fighting for their life in the upper bracket with Sorb and Death trying to force extra rounds. And there is one step closer thanks to Sorb.
Lace, 1 versus 2. What can he find? Peeks out, spots both of them. Does so much damage. He's 14 HP though. Flashbang. This is gonna be huge. Pops it up. Spots out. Can't find it. We're going to overtime. We are going to overtime, Cyber Waste.
Indeed, it took all 30 rounds and we are still at a deadlock. So now we need a winner to see whether we need to go to Mirage or whether it all ends here. And judging from the sample size of this map, at the very least, you can basically do a coin flip for it. These two are tight in terms of just how well versed they are on each side. You can't really call it.
Oh man, that's a little demoralizing for Riot Gaming though, not checking that door. And that might give this and that window. It's a huge round for them to win. Weak bye. So now they're playing, they're coming out into this OT with the confidence for the round that they just pulled off. They're feeling good, they're feeling hot, they're feeling a little bit of relief. Whereas you get Riot, they're probably not going to be happy about that, not thrilled whatsoever. We'll see how mentally strong they are, how resilient they are, whether or not they can regain some of their momentum that they had.
I believe it was when it was 14-11 that round had a lot of weight. This is a replication and amplification of that scenario. This is huge for both sides. If Riot Gaming wins the round, the momentum will shift back to them. And well, if this and that get even 2 rounds, because we've seen that the T side is at least stronger in terms of this map at the very least. This and that will be happy with 2 CT rounds and could actually win out the map should everything else fall into their favor. So, it's definitely not over yet, and who knows? We could actually go to the 3rd map, which is Mirage in the set.
And I'm not surprised that I'm assuming it's Riot Gaming taking a little bit of a second to try and draw out the gap between OT, because I mean, you can remember a while ago, Cyberwaste, we were talking to former Renegades player, or former Vox player, I should say, Top Gun, and he mentioned that it was, like, CSGO is quite an emotional game, so it makes sense that they'd want to kind of corral their, I guess, frustrations after letting that one slip away, around that they probably should have won, as well as trying to cool off the emotions that this and that were riding high on, because they were going to be feeling brilliant that with the weaker bye that they won that round. Now we'll see whether or not the emotions are enough. How do they feel? How can they pull out this round? This is so important. Who do you have, Cyber Waste, as OT goes live? This and that are your CTs. Riot on your T side once again. Who do you have winning this?
In terms of, well, if frag distribution alone, I would say this and that. But if Tom wakes up, it could be a huge boon for this and that to contend with, because we need to bring this up. 7 and 20 in 30 rounds. That is not what you want. A little bit of damage exchange early on too. Right. We'll have to rejig whose position where and who does what if they're wanting to really be effective and use everybody effectively, because Jabbo can easily go down into 1 or 2 shots. Olaf could go down to 2 shots of an M4. So it's made things a lot easier for the CTs to deal with, and looks like uppers is the call.
Wrath, he's gone through doors, so he's got the information. They've moved Syl back into this site where Paris is. They're well aware that this is in all likelihood going to be a B hit. Now they've got the utility to try and draw it slower. Wrath getting all that info through mid. You're going to see a stack start to move through here unless Riot try and rotate off of this.
That window to rotate off could actually shut very shortly. Wrath is moving through lower dark. And it looks like Tom might be aware of it. He's turned his back to the lower dark. It looks like the advance is moving forward for Riot Gaming and still standing tall anyway. Lance does get a reply, but it is basically all blue for the CTs. 2 did end up going down, but 3 for Sil there. And, well, that couldn't have gone better for this and that, all things considered.
That push from Wrath won them that round. Bar none. The fact that he got so much information out long and then into mid, it allowed them to bring that third player over, third point of distraction. They didn't even expect the player to be in car. He found a pair of kills. Absolutely massive. And now, Riot, we need to see some form of a response, some kind of an answer. Otherwise, we are going to Mirage. That will be the next map if this and that manage to take this one.
Indeed, the magic number for this game is now 19. The first team to accrue that many rounds will be the winner of the map. And if this and that end up being the victors, we will go to the next and final map in the series. As Mr. Morrison did allude to, we will be going to Mirage to conclude everything. And well, right after being spooked like that, playing extremely slow compared to the previous round. They'd be well wise to do it, but Sorb, despite being tagged up, did end up taking down one of the members of Riot. Layers is no more, and there's no bomb on the back either. So, right, even if they wanted to go now, they'll have to go back and retrieve the C4. Jabba will be the carrier there. And, right, it's running out of time. If they don't get a frag now, it's going to be extremely difficult. Gunlock might actually get one. But Wrath has stopped them dead in their tracks. Death was there to assist. But Tom, what a time to come through there, buddy. We'll get rid of Sorb. Despite Sorb already being tagged up, that's going to be doing good for his confidence. But now we're down to 15 seconds, and dead on the cross is Jabba. So now 1 versus 3 for Tom. Time's not on his side. I don't think Tom will even be able to get the bomb down. No, he will not. Paris will give him his marching orders. And 2 in a row for this and that. And despite the fact that Riot can buy into this, given it started with 16k, oh, you would not be happy with the current state of affairs.
No, they need this round. This is such an important part here. I mean, both halves were so even. They were both 8-7. And, well, Chapo, there's a nice start to it. Peeking down mid, finds that kill. Fly out long, gonna coming out any moment there. They found another kill. Big opener there. They're aware that there is an opper. And I think Gunlock's gonna be able to hear all these rotates coming through as well. They should know that B's completely open. Gonna peek out, find a player on the door. That's a lot of damage to him. They're not gonna land either. Should be able to catch him, and finally they do get that one. Bit of a mistake, though. They peeked out before the smoke bloomed. Paris tried to pop himself through it, though. Finds that kill. So now it is just Sorb 1 versus 2, and looks like finally Riot are going to be able to take a round. And they'll need to be flawless on their CT side if they want to win this. Otherwise, we're going to the next OT.
Tom has punched in the numbers, and now Sorb's on the clock. It's definitely possible. Don't be mistaken. But Layers is looking right at the window, and well, that will be the end of that. Sorb will be no more, and 16-17, and this and that are in the lead. They require 2, and Riot Gaming require a sweep of the CT side to get a win, and well, they need to win at least 2 to force a second round of OT.
Well, we should have the side swap come in momentarily. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know who you favor. I honestly, I hate to say it. I've been impressed with Riot thus far, but I think we are going to Mirage. This and that, I believe, just are going to be able to close it out. CT side, they only need 2 rounds, or only need 1 round to force the next OT. 2 to win it. I think that they are going to be able to pull it off.
Well, they definitely have the fight in them, and we know that the T side for this and that, it's started off a bit rocky, but it ended up getting there in the end. Hopefully it'll do the same for them. We're in the second half of overtime now. This and that require 2 on the T side, and Riot Gaming require all 3 to win, and 2 to force. We will wait and see as of now, and there definitely never no expense spared on the CT side. We see the double orb, but Jabba already tagged up through the double doors.
Well played by Wrath, putting his crosshair right on the jump spot, knowing his reflexes to manage to catch one player off. Doesn't get the kill, obviously. It wasn't quite at headshot height, but still nicely done nonetheless. It's a big opener for this and that. Need to see a response from Riot Gaming to try and at least get some damage in, and hopefully they can trade well. Bomb is B halls right now. No. Might they be rotating Lace out? I don't think so. I think he's aware. It's because his spidey senses are tingling. He's just going to be moving to doors.
He does indeed senses. He senses that there is treachery afoot. And Jabbo holding a very passive angle on the platform in the B site. Looks like the old mid to B will be on the cards for this and that, and a lot of utility forcing them back. But the 2 members on the B site for Riot Gaming will have to be well aware that they could be pinched upon any moment now. And Leas did end up going down, and Jabbo did as well. So now this and that have seized control of the B bomb site, and now a 3 versus 5, and it looks like Riot want no part of it. They're going to have to play for overtime.
Yeah, Olaf's going to fall. Og will find the kill onto Paris. Gunlock might try and find his way through. I don't even think he's got an opportunity to find an exit kill. This is just such a rough spot for Riot to be in. This and that, they are going to be 1 round away from clinching this map and forcing us to our 3rd map of the series. Gunlock managed to find one, though. Pulls them back towards the bomb site. He might be trying to get someone to go up with the bomb. Throws his gun away. Will die. I don't think anyone's going to go down with it, unfortunately.
Sadly not. It was a novel idea, though, for Gunlock to try and lock them in place and let them go down to the explosion while keeping the member carrying the op at the time, which was Tom, keeping him alive. And hopefully being an asset even more in the rounds to come. But now, this and that are fighting for a 3rd map. They are on match point of the 2nd map of this best of 3 series. And, well, this and that are really wanting to play aggressively, and that's going to make them pay. Olaf will get rid of Paris very early on in the stretch. Well, Riot are definitely making Long a very tough point of contention, and maybe making this and that think maybe it's not so safe out there.
I like the double up towards mid that they have right now. Just worried that they might be the rotate through, rotate back off. This whole A-hole is very, like, the positioning's interesting here. It's almost weird, but it looks like it might work. Olaf mollied off of Cat. You know, there's a player towards mid. Maybe one up Cat as these players start to work their way out long. Gunlock is going to be so key here. Oh, and Wrath gets the up shot. Olaf not able to connect on his. And shot in the back from Cat. A started to fall. 3v4 retake is what's going to have to come in for Riot. Make that a 2 versus 4. You can feel map 3 coming out. Looks like this and that may be able to force Mirage, as it is just... Oh, Tommy falls. Doesn't even have a chance. We're going to Mirage. The final map of this best of 3.
And, well, you can't really separate them now. We are tied at 1, and it was a very hard fought map on both sides. It couldn't even be settled in regulation. We needed overtime to do it. But this and that thankfully keep their lives in the upper bracket alive and well. And we go to Mirage tied at 1 apiece in this upper bracket semi-final for the Season 29 relegations for the Mountain Dew League. And we'll take a break to let all of that sink in. And Dreamboat, Graham Morrison, and myself, Justin Lutz, will be back very shortly Do not go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Inferno wasn't enough. Dust wasn't enough. We needed Mirage. That's where we are here for the ESEA MDL Season 29 Australia relegations between Riot and This and That. I, of course, am Graham Dreamboat Morrison, once again joined by Justin Cyberwaste Lutz. Give me a follow on Twitter at DreamboatCast, him at I am Cyberwaste. We will be bringing you this final map of what has been an absolutely mental series. I mean, Dust, they went to overtime. It was insane. It had a great comeback from Riot Gaming, but it fell just short, Cyberwaste. Do you think they bounce back here, or is it This and That map to take?
Oh, with a map as well tread as Mirage, you can't really put a result like that into that much of a consideration. It doesn't hold that much weight. I feel we could be at a... It's basically a clean slate. We're back at square one. Yes, Riot Gaming did win the opening map 16-9, which was Inferno, which was their pick, and as Mr. Morrison did just mention, Dust 2 did end up going into extra rounds, and that went to This and That 19-16. So, in terms of rounds played, you give it to, well, you give it to This and That because they've played more, they've won more of them. But, what would you really say? You'd say it. You basically just flip a coin, see where you land, because they've proven on Dust 2 they're basically very evenly matched.
Yeah, I
Also, like,
mean, it's so tough to choose. Flipping a coin might honestly be the best option. I flipped one here, personally. It landed Riot. I don't know what that says. Whether my coin is magic and it will work. I think I was probably leaning Riot. Just the way that they were they went a lot of rounds that they shouldn't, and they lost both pistols on Dust, and it still went all the way to overtime. You shouldn't win a map when you lose both pistols, and I think that could really be a difference maker. It's really gonna come down to those pistols though, but the fact that Riot can still battle back when not winning either gives a slight edge to me for them.
that's actually quite sound when you break it down like that. It's actually a huge thing that you bring up. They didn't end up winning any of the pistols, and also they got a fluke round in, was it one of the eco rounds on Dust 2? Did Riot Gaming? They ended up losing the round, but they ended up getting a bomb plant where they had no right to actually do so. So
Yeah, when a guy just walks the bomb up cat, you know something's wrong.
there might be a lapse in communication, but at any rate, we have all of them in the server, and now we are in the knife round to decide it all. The third map of this best of three set for the Mountain Dew League relegation sessions, provided by CappingTV and ESEA, and I am Justin Lutz, aka Sabaways, and my co-caster is Graham Morrison, aka Dreamboat, and this and that have the power of choice. After winning the knife round, it looks like they're wanting to stay as CTs, but we'll have to wait and see.
Stab, stab, stab your friend. Pick the CT side. Win the round, win the game. Close it on Mirage.
Please don't ever do that again.
Is that not what's gonna happen? This and that aren't gonna win the round and close it out on Mirage here?
Maybe in not as much of a nursery rhyme fashion as you would imply, but it's sound. We do see the HE and the CZ, curiously enough, on the back of Paris on the CT side. You are right. This and that did end up going to the defenders, and your attackers will be Riot Gaming and 4 Armored and Gunlock being the nade carrier. Looks like we will see a potential waterfall coming out of T apartments, and Paris is there to definitely greet them. That HE ended up being a money nade and then a frag right on top. And well, this is all this and that, and the kitchen sink being thrown at Riot Gaming, but Tom is not going quietly into the good night. Gunlock actually got a swift shot to death. Didn't end up dropping him, but got him tagged up enough to be a silent threat, but still will do a part to basically guarantee the round win for this and that. Did end up going down, but it was enough for Death to get the final shot onto Tom. And well, this and that, and almost a bit of a flurry there and a bit of a whirlwind, they end up getting the opening round. And perhaps a sign of momentum going in their favor.
So now all we need is this and that to win the game, and then the nursery rhyme is correct.
Yeah, I hate it when you're correct. But
It happens so frequently.
don't get cocky, man. Please don't. The
But we
ego
do
is
have
bad, I
quick
swear.
hit coming in towards B. HE's gonna go through. Oh, that doesn't quite get the kill, but doesn't matter. Everyone is slowly falling. It's just Glocks. What do you expect? Don't expect the man to plant the bomb, do you? Nope. Jabbo's not going to be able to pull that one off this time.
Not this time, no. And even with the little bit of a shanking on the side of Riot Gaming, a little bit of a love tap. It was a backstab too, so a lot of damage done. Although it wasn't a kill, it was about, what is it, 75 damage for a friendly backstab or so? Not what you
Something
want.
like that.
Not what you want. But now, no ops yet. We do have pure rifles, and we still have one submachine gun. Death is carrying the UMP, and Paris is running with reckless abandon up mid. It could actually be rewarded should things fall into his favor. And well, this and that have stopped any sort of mid presence being an actual thing. And Death knows where the bomb is too. It's going from bad to worse for Riot Gaming in the opening break.
Not smoke. I mean flash. Second.
Well, Gunlock found a kill. And Tom is working out He might actually be able to catch a free kill here. Oh, sprays through. Gets a little bit hairy, but he still finds it. Lace is audibly confused by that. But now Bomb needs to try and find its way to that site. And Ratsy's looking up Cat. Timing on this is so huge. If Gunlock manages to turn the corner at the right time, he's got a player not looking anywhere near him. Won't find that kill. Tom got 1-2. Closes it out. A round that was stolen back by Riot Gaming. Great job grinding that one out.
I mentioned before, they're stealing rounds away and winning rounds they really shouldn't. Well, after that opening, you almost certainly give it to this and that, but a lot of patience and a lot of cohesion in amongst the team for Riot Gaming made that all fall into place. And well, they're on the board very early on, and it's forced this and that to really make a choice and count their pennies, because they are not in a good step financially. Like, look, you do have the armor and CZ and nades on the back of death, but aside from that, you don't really have much on the side of this and that, and that could be the cue for Jabba to head the charge and go to work with the Mac-10. But Sob's trying to make the workday a little bit short for Jabba. Already tagged up quite a bit.
Well, another kill coming through. Death nice and close with the CZ. Finds one. Tom, though, is going to walk out, find a pair. And here's the thing, if you are a Riot fan, he's starting off 6-2. He didn't have the greatest game in Dust 2 on overtime, so it's huge for him to get his feet back under him. Paris, you're going to try and walk out there. It's tagged up. Just has the CZ. Might try and save. I don't think they should hunt him.
No, they'd be in no... It'd be rather foolish to hunt them. The only reason Paris actually goes down is just by happenstance. It would be well within the interest of Riot Gaming to sort of bide their time. They want to have a go. Really making...
Confusing. Hopefully they don't lose a gun for this. Nah, Tom's gonna peek out, find the kill. So it's not so bad. I was worried that they'd lose a gun in that engagement.
Well,
That would have been the worst thing that could happen.
That would have been about the limit that you would have wanted for casualties, and even then, it'd be less than ideal for Riot. So, that's all well and good. All they lost was a Mac-10 in the grand scheme of things. So not all that bad. But now, isn't that yet again with the two armored players and the bombing run going up mid? Not really finding much fruit. Did tag up Jabba though, so it's made the jobs a little bit easier for the power pistols. Should this and that choose to engage, and Olive has caught 2 unawares a connector and has come close to a third. And now Pride will be sitting pretty, and only one did end up going down. That was Paris getting the frag on a Jabba, but basically crew expendable at that point. And now this and that, really wanting to make the tie, and they're throwing everything at it. You see the AWP on the backs of Wrath and Sorb. Curious to see where they both go. One might go ticket booth, and one might go mid and then rotate off to the B site in the near future.
Double ops here. Sorb Wrath perhaps will be the tide turners. They're looking for anything. Just shooting through the smoke. Doesn't land it. Slower pace right now from Riot Gaming though.
So sitting on short, he might actually be well aware of a potential push onto B, and Olive is no longer a member that is on the team. He's been put down by Sorb. So that AWP already proving to be a strong presence. Right, now with the bomb to hand, it's on the back of Laeus. Really wanting to try and recenter themselves. They do have the luxury of time and the nade usage on their side, but if it's an A side they're wanting to go for, they do have a strong defense to try and crack. But they'll
but there's a couple. Still though, he's gonna chime back in with one onto Jabbo. Gives him the opportunity to potentially venture forward with his lads to try and win out this round. attempting to retake. Again, look at the play from Gunlock right now. He's running around, going to be going up cat. Bomb's not quite in the spot for him to deal with that. It's actually not really planted for ramp either. Players are sticking it. 2 seconds. 1 second. He's going to defuse it. Oh my, what a sham.
And that is not what Riot would have wanted. Just perhaps a little bit of miscommunication. A flank that could have worked, but the bomb wasn't planted for him. Just a bit of a scrappy post plant, and well, this and that basically took full advantage of it, and has basically left Riot Gaming to really sort of dwell on their what could have been and just dust themselves off and moved on. So we are now tied, but it's by no means free yet for this and that. They're still left in the doldrums in terms of economy. There's only a Deagle at the back of Sorb. We know he's sharp, but he may be wanting something more substantial very soon.
Oh, Gunlock lives on 2 HP. Dinked up and then naded.
That hurts a lot, and if that Molotov is spread any further, although there was another member that was in front of him, if it was spread anywhere near Gunlock, he would be off the grid. You could breathe on him, actually. And Tom did get a Deagle shot right to the chest, but Sorb is promptly dealt with. So Riot Gaming do have the man advantage, but only barely. It's going to be a point we'll hammer home again. Gunlock is barely breathing, but still a member on the field.
Hey, you know, 2 HP is 1 HP more than you need.
Touché.
Starly moving up, though. Jabba. Oh, that's actually Lace getting that kill onto death. Regardless, they still find it. Still on Cat, though. We'll chime back in. Still a man advantage, although barely with the HP on 2 of those players. But an advantage nonetheless, and they kill Wrath and CT. Now it is just Syl and Paris trying to move their way forward. Paris has found the first one. Syl, oh, dinked up by Gunlock.
I'm a retard.
It's made things extremely difficult for this retake, but still getting the frag on the Gunlock there. It could be their ticket in, but it's banking so heavily on Tom and Olive, basically fluffing their lines. And Syl's actually making this possible. Now we are down to a duel, a 1 versus 1 between Paris and Tom. And the smoke's actually down. He does have a kit and is wanting to stick this.
No, he didn't
load! Oh, Tom.
Not again!
Tom's gonna be angry at that one, and Riot might actually be the same. Didn't get the spray through the smoke where he wanted it. It was right between his legs, as a matter of fact, according to the X-ray, and that's gut-wrenching to lose. All right, and this and that, basically steal one right under their nose.
Oh, that's so devastating. They're going up in apps, though. Paris, he finds one. Lit up quite heavily. Nades won't land anywhere, though. The remaining players from Riot are so far back they weren't able to trade it off. But also very little info gained.
And actually look at Riot. We were mentioning it earlier. Tom had a rough time on the previous map, but look at him now. 12-3, and the rest of the team are on 4 frags and 2 frags respectively. So definitely a wake-up call for Mr. Tom. This and that have been a little bit tighter in terms of their distribution. We have 8 on Paris, 7 on Syl, 5 on Wrath, 3 on Death, and only 2 for Sorb. Sorb has proven to have his weight be proven in the late game. And Death might have spotted one on the T ramp.
He did, and look at that. It's pulled to rotate over out of window, and Syl has moved up Cat. So that means it's a lot easier for them to hit this site. Oh, shot in the back, though. Jabbo will still fall. However, Syl doesn't really have the support yet. Still finding a kill. It's a 2 versus 2.
Killed me.
Someone just got jumping killed, apparently. Feels bad. But Tom still wreaking havoc in this site, waiting for Gunlock to come up Cat. And that info is not being gained. Death falls, and around for Riot.
As It's very disciplined play and a little bit of patience there too. And it's been rewarded finally for Riot. They don't let a round slip away. And despite all the winnings from this and that in the previous rounds, they are economically completely tapped. And now only have Deagles and PC50 Sand. And Riot's really aware of this and really want to go aggressive on towards the A site.
Flying out there though, Olaf will fall. Oh, but that's all those pistols fine. Just one. This is quite low right now, and the pistol might be able to do some more damage. Gunlock taking a duel with one. I'm still going to be able to find it. Now it's a 2 versus 4. Paris and Wrath trying to move their way in. Inching forward, looking around, trying to find a kill. Deagle in hand, does a lot of damage up. Tom going to be falling back off of that one.
If one of these Deagles can actually 1-beat one of the Riot members, that would be huge. But Tom did end up going down, but he was already tagged. 1-beating Jabbo, though, would have been a huge, huge ticket back into the site. He's really wanted to challenge this. It might be to his detriment. They'll end up getting rid of Paris, though, and Wrath was shortly to follow. And Riot are finally in the lead. It took them a lot longer than they probably would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny too. Like the confidence he has just to stand there and tap away with the AK. See, when I do that against Deagles, I always just get 1-deagged.
I was expecting it, to be honest. I was like, Jabbo, you're just begging to be 1-beat. It didn't end up
But it
happening.
didn't happen. And Tom, by the way, he was like 7 and like 29 or whatever he was on Dust 2. Not having a great game. He's 17 and 4. 17 and 4. He's an absolute monster this map. Going way too hard. Absolutely beautiful.
After that last map, I think something might have woken up and it was like, I'm angry and I'm going to take it out on these counter-terrorists. And, well, he's going to have to do that to avenge Gunlock. He did end up going down in the hands of death. And it could be all that this and that musters. The B site's completely seized. The bomb is now ticking away. And they are in no place to retake this and that, but they do have an AK to hand. And Syl will be basically the president, and the rest of this and that will want to protect him.
Well, they are just setting up for exits. So many players at any of these escape routes. This could lead to a lot of people falling. Wrath takes some damage. But Sorb, he's in a good spot to potentially pick up an AK here. Placed right around that corner, peeks out, and he will find 1, but not 2. Another kill going down onto Tom. And the health on the remaining 2 players is very low, but they're not going to be able to find anyone else. Great damage done, though, by the pistols of this and that. Yes, they didn't get the round, but the economic damage is absolutely massive.
Astronomical, and also for this and that, they carry a weapon over too. So yeah, they did lose 4 men in that round, but well, we got an AK out of it for very little investment, and they will take that every day of the week. And Sorb finally has his puppy. His favorite weapon, his AWP to hand, and we've seen him do work with that previous. And Paris, good God, ran right through 2 members of Riot, and there's one there for Paris. And just like that, it's only Gunlock versus the world. Blink and you miss it. This aggression from Riot Gaming came back to bite them and bit them hard.
That's what we were doing.
Someone gave me a suggestion, like, someone's asking if I'm assuming you, because you got a much more broad of vocabulary than I do, but asking if you have a thesaurus next to you, because you are just so goddamn good, Cyberwaste. And yeah, if you are listening and you're a fan of him, he is Cyberwaste. Follow him at @IamCyberwaste, because he's an absolute beauty and incredibly nuts. I, of course, am Graham, Dreamboat Morrison. Give me a follow on Twitter at DreamboatCast, as this is the Australia MDL relegations between Riot Gaming and this and that. Map 1 was Riot's take on their pick of Inferno. Map 2 went to this and that on Dust 2. And here we are on Mirage, about a third of the way through.
After that initial that introduction and flow through to the plug on my Twitter, I'm a little bit smitten. That was actually quite nice. And yes, I do love words. Read a thesaurus. It's good for you. Running into 1 minute and 5, and there's 3 members on the B side for this and that. Good thing for Riot Gaming, they're wanting to tread nowhere near there. Look at where the bomb is located. It is on the back of Olaf. And they are setting up for an A take. They do have some resistance there, though. There's one at the ticker booth and one of the junglers wanting to move forward. And with all the nades going off, that could be the cue to advance. And, well, they're holding strong for now.
Yeah, everybody is falling. Gunlock 1 versus 5. Do you believe? Do you believe Cyber Waste?
No.
Trying to move his way up, get shot in the back.
I very sternly say no. He was on half HP. Everyone was mad as hell on the side of this and that. It's like, yeah, we got the bomb. Find our last guy, and it will be all peachy. And we are all square in the final map. We are at 6 rounds apiece going into round number 13, and Riot are basically digging into the bottom of the change jar. I checked my change jar, but it's too far away. They're just wanting to go through the motions and say, can we get something from the dollar menu? They've gotten a couple of things from the cheapo menu. They've gotten a lot of power pistols. Deagle's proven to be quite effective, and they're wanting to do a waterfall out of scaffolding, and, well, it's basically headbutting a brick wall. But they do get the bomb down. So that's one saving grace.
That's honestly, when you're going for a waterfall out of pallets, that's everything you can ask for. So I think they're pretty thrilled with that one. I know I'd be absolutely tickled peach with that, as it helps lace the bank account, gives them a bye comfortably into this next round, and if they win it, should give them a bye to the end of it.
We'll have to wait and see whether there will be an orb invested. No, there will not. I don't think they would be able to afford an orb anyway. Not in a sound way that they probably wanted to have one to hand anyway. They just want to overwhelm Sorb and snatch his, more than likely. Utility being far more valuable for the T's in this instance.
Lays shredding the head right off death. Ratho gonna chime back in. Does find one, keeps it into a 4v4. And meaty nade onto Jabbo's face. Makes him a little bit worse for wear. Still though, bomb very far over towards B, and it's actually going to be Tom coming out A, finds a kill, pulls, rotates. B side's completely empty. This bomb is going to go down for absolute free, and I don't think this and that have realized it. They are unaware of the situation, and B is Riot Gaming's. The squad will continue to work. It is a 3v3 spot, the way they like it.
Now the reinforcements for this and that are finally there, but they are all in the shop, and Riot are definitely stuck in to help defend, and Olaf will prove my point there, getting the kill there before being traded out, but the cavalry for the Riot squad will be there to assist, but we have shrunken it down to a 1 versus 1, and Paris did put a knee right through that defense, and they are in a half-winning predicament. They have won the 8 that required that particular chance to occur, and we are now at round number 15. Do we end up going at a 9-6 or an 8-7? And looking at how these rounds have gone, we've said it time and again, almost to the point of annoyance, I would think. These two teams are neck and neck, and in terms of utility, you give it to this and that, but you can't really call it, especially at this stage.
And worth noting, just what is on the line for this game. A winner will keep their MDL spot and face Astral Influence the next round. Loser, they got to play Trident Storm to keep themselves alive in the lower bracket. So, a lot on the line here in this game. And Riot, they found the first kill, but that's actually a peek out with the CZ. How does he find 2 there? That was absolutely sick. Olaf, though, will equalize things down to a 2 versus 2. Sorb and Paris trying to come through. Bomb going down on the A site, and Paris finds the first shot. Now it's just Olaf, 1 versus 2. Bomb is planted for him, and he will find the first kill onto Sorb. So where that Paris is somewhere around Cat, somewhere around Connector. I was going to be looking to see where this push comes through. 1 versus 1. Olaf versus Paris. Paris won the last 1v1. He's going to be trying to come through his smoke. will be able to get through. Time is ticking down, though. He has a kit. Gonna be tapping the bomb, looking around, trying to find anybody. And Olaf starting to move out, realizes he's not on it, realizes that Paris is gonna have to go for it anytime now. And Olaf will win the clutch, bringing the half 8-7, just like Dust 2 was.
And you're almost at the point of splitting hairs now. You could barely put these teams apart, and a lot of patience and positioning played a part there for Riot Gaming. At least getting to about as even as you could have asked for. Yeah, they lost out the half, but only just. And well, it's going right down to the wire. And starting as we mean to go on, if the map of Dust 2 was any indicator, which went to overtime and ended up falling to this and that. It was 19-16, and now we are in the final half of this best of 3 series. We are tied at 1 in terms of maps. Riot Gaming won our first, this is that won our second, and now we have it all to play for. Riot Gaming are your defenders, this and that will be your attackers. 4 members armored up on the CT side, and Tom will be your kit carrier, and the armored up death vehicle of this and that will be all 5 members having body armor and are just running down towards the T apartments and onto the B site. Well, it's turned to an all-out brawl very early on, but slightly in favor of this and that. Well, definitely in favor of this and that now. And Olive is trying to bring things back for him, but definitely will. Getting a slug right in the mouth, and Def dropping the bomb.
And he finds another kill somehow, too. Paris is on 3 HP, 1 versus 2, and Olaf gets that one. A 4K from him, and a massive round from Riot Gaming.
Do you believe in miracles? That was super lame, and I'm proud of it. We are tied at 8 now, off of a huge 4K from him, as a matter of fact, and as now topping the scoreboard according to my view, he's on 12-12, and Tom still being an absolute menace. After the change, we are at 19-10 for him, and well, he's basically like, well, I'll do the fragging so you guys don't have to, but after the change, Riot Gaming might want to tighten up their frag counters, and they could be very well poised to do just that. And the bomb not going down for this and that either. That's basically squandered any chance of a rebuttal. They haven't invested a single thing in this round. So this will definitely be the time for the MP5 and the UMP to go to work.
Well, jumping up into the window with the boost. Olaf will find Silt. Jabba's going to fall. Olaf's getting another one. Now 2 alive. Death in Paris. Well, Paris jumps to his death. And it leaves the aforementioned death cleaned up by Jabba. Clean round from Riot Gaming. Everything you could ask for. And now they are in a great spot. However, the AK is coming up from this and that, trying to equalize it. It looks like Riot, they're going to keep with just 1 M4. I've got a FAMAS on Jabba, 3 SMGs, and that's the way they're going to hold it. Trying to go for a bit of a bonus round here, Cyberwaste. This could work. I'm not sure it's the right call, though. I almost feel like you want to buy and go for your best chance in every round.
I don't know. When you're dealing with the CT side, we said the economy is so important in these games, and especially with CTs, you need more money to get more stuff because the stuff's more expensive. But it could end up coming back to bite you. Gunlock, hearing a ton of gunfire, might be calling for assistance very shortly, and he did get that in the form of Jabbo. Very little damage exchange. That is still a little bit worse for wear. But that's definitely, it's definitely made Jabbo aware now. He's been tagged up quite heavily and is running right into the comfort of the proper B site and is Molotoved off the T apartments. And basically, we're at a stalemate, but you give it ever so slightly to this and that.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a slight edge, and, well, I'd almost give it to Riot just with the half health on a pair of those players. That means that they will be taken out easily by the M4. No longer is it a 2-shot off the headshot. 1 shot will do it. There's a lot of players in the B-bomb site right now. Hit started to come through. Gunlock finds 1. Quickly traded back by Paris. Another Lace, he's got 1 as well. It's another player down. Kills, though. They are going this and that's way. 2 men trying to come back through here. Health is poor on all 3 alive. These SMGs could find all the kills that they need. And I wonder, do they expect that Tom is coming through apps right now? Lace is going to find the first kill, making this retake much more doable. 2 players so very hurt. 1 half health, 1 12 HP. 13, I should say, as I can't read. Now the retake. They are moving, inching. Tom's found the first one. He gets the second one. The retake is good. The round goes to Riot Gaming. Beautifully done by them. The low health, no problem for the SMGs as Riot grab 10.
Indeed, they are now in double digits, and you can thank both of the dynamic duo there, Les and Tom, for basically clawing that round back for them. And although they're disadvantaged in terms of weaponry, it doesn't mean much when you're pretty much in one-shot range, which both of those members were. Now, this and that, they've thrown everything they can at it. You can tell from their investments. Their highest wallet for any of the members of this and that is $150 on the back of Paris. And a couple of them are cleaned out completely. So if this and that loses, Riot could easily get to 12, and the window of staying in the upper bracket for this and that could surely slam shut right in their fingers.
Pushing their way out ramp. They get the kill on the Olaf. Do they expect Lace lying in dark? He's gonna peek out, spots one, spraying around, trying to transfer, not able to find that second kill. That would have been huge had he pulled it out. He's a little bit disappointed by that health. We're still on 2 of these players, and Jabo's peeked out and found one. We find the player in stairs. Unable to do so. Nades coming through are going to be good to force them out. And Tom's got a pair. Now it is just death. 1 versus 3. Make that 1 versus 2. Peeks out. He's going to find the kill as well, but he's not going to find the last one. Gunlock wins it out. And the clutches there are going Riot Gaming's way on to their 11th, and they're trying to close out this series.
And doing it as quickly as they can. Tom, we mentioned it at the start of this map. He did not have a good time, even in a map that went into extras. I don't believe he even broke the 10 frag ceiling. Look at him now, 23-11 in this map alone. Yowzers, we could see a 30 bomb should he keep going. We might have woken up something. He'd be like, no, I am sick and tired of being the person that's perceived to not give enough. I will give my all and then some, and it's paying off in spades. This is that already eating shrapnel and eating bullets as well. Death has, well, lived up to his namesake and is now dead. Completely depleted of HP and is now on the bench, and Paris already being shot through up towards Palace. So this is that being pressured very early on.
And you can already tell that they're feeling that it is going to be up up onto A. You see one player's moved up through connector. Silk is not going to land his nade. Goes next to nowhere. Throws a smoke down. Quick trade. Kick kills traded out as Lace grabs 1, falls. Bomb will go down. Jabo, he's got another one. However, leaving it at 2 versus 4 Cyber Waste.
And you definitely give it to the CTs, especially with Olaf and the AWP could actually prove to be the X factor or just the meat on the bones. There you go. There's 1 frag and the second for Tom, just putting a cap on everything. A 2K for him, still closing into the elusive 30 bomb. He is on 25 now. And not to short sell anybody on the side of this and that, Paris has been a juggernaut as well, is on 21. So we have 2 players in the server, 1 on each side on a 30 bomb watch. Keep an eye on him. We do have another buy too, so this and that. Although a little bit deprived of utility, they've definitely proven that they can go toe to toe with the rifle carriers on the side of Riot.
Oh, Lace, is he able to win this duel with the player in underpass? That could be absolutely crucial. Instead, they both fall off, go their own ways. Apparently, they're listening to a little bit of Fleetwood Mac as Olaf peeks out and chains a shot right through Wrath's heart. All the remaining players for this and that are in towards mid right now. They have the option of going both to A or B. Looks like they are inching the way up connector, though. Still about to walk right into Lace, and he wins the duel. He's going to be shot in the back by Jabbo, who's backing him up again. Traded out by Paris, keeping it at 3 versus 3. Tom in dark. Might he find a kill here? No, Death's got him.
It did spot a appendage there and promptly met his demise. Now we are in a 3 versus 2, and Paris would have heard Gunlock jumping about, and well, no more jumping for you, Mr. Jumping Bean. You will get a bullet right to the mouth. Olaf has put smoke down right on top of the bomb and has actually taken out Paris, and really wanted to either try to take a body with him or try to stick it, but neither was successful. And this and that finally get a reply. But Riot can still buy in. They're not out of the woods just yet on the side of this and that. They've still got a lot to chew through.
It's an interesting buy, to say the least. I almost would have liked them to save here, just so they have a more proper buy. Maybe they'll make me eat my words, though. It is 2 SMGs, 2 M4s, and an AWP going against the big green gun and 4 AKs. And that HE was money, doing 44 to Wrath, doing another 29 to Death. And of course, 1 to Sorb.
And that'll make the jobs for both of the submachine guns a lot easier too, but Wrath in the ladder room, not firing a shot, but definitely gathering a lot of intel on the whereabouts and mutterings of Riot Gaming and where they tread. So we might not even move for the foreseeable future. Wait for
Oh no.
the rest of this and that to get into position.
The bomb is moving towards ramp, though. It's alone, and it's an AWP.
Oh dear.
There's an SMG point blank in Lace, as well as he's got a man backing him up. This is going to be bomb dropped unless he clears and he misses a shot, and that's a free bomb. No one else is there. No one can support this. Oh, right. Become aware of that, and there's a hit through connector. Still finding one. They're going to fall back into ramp. That is everything. Up picked up. Lace is going to fall. There's still the SMG down. Runs through the molly, and Gullock's got that kill. Now Tom trying to come in from behind through CT. We'll pick one off. Spots a player up by ramp, and now a 2 versus 2. This is such an awkward spot for Syl and Wrath to try and work from.
Indeed, and especially with not only with Wrath going down, but with where the bomb is situated, Syl's basically gonna have to hit Gunlock right in the mouth to even have a chance. And that's exactly what he will do. We'll have to get a 4K to his name. Will Syl, and now 10 seconds. Olaf basically has this to lose. The bomb will go down.
Interesting. Olaf falling off that angle. Now he is trying to move up connector. Syl is quite lit, and Olaf wisely swapping to the AK. Peeks out, and Syl hits the shot, though. 4K for him, and a stolen round by this and that around that surely Riot Gaming should have won.
That, just the huge engagement with the bomb going down to the hands of a submachine gun player, especially with the ult being on his back, so much value. That frag should have won Riot Gaming the round, but this and that ended up basically turning it right in his head and basically snatching the rug right underneath Riot Gaming, and that's stunned the entire team into the point of basically a reset. They haven't put a cent into this, and we should see this and that just go through the motions, and the gap will become 1, and we are having a rerun of our previous map, Dust 2, but we are in a slightly different setting.
Slightly different setting and an inverse of the situations. Lace up behind, might be able to find some damage here. 5-7 in hand, not able to land the shots. The spread of the pistol still a little bit too detrimental to him there. Now 1 round is the gap. Still, money's not amazing for either side, but we are going to see Riot. Of course, we are going to see them buying into this round. They've got the M4s. They have a decent amount of utility. There's only a Galil on Death, so it'll be hard-pressed to win some duels with that. It is my pick for one of the worst guns in Counter-Strike. I hate you, the Galil. But we'll see if this and that can equalize things here, Cyber Waste.
This HE perhaps was banging a little bit more. Did get a tag on the right, though, so Gunlock could be happy with that. But very little little gain there in terms of the grand scheme, and just a little bit of utility exchange. The smoke grenade did plume inside of the apartments, so any advance that this and that really wanted to have is, well, put on hold for the time being while that dissipates.
They have boosted Jabbo up inside the B-bomb site. That could be a crucial position if they overlook it. Looks like that's where the bomb will be electing to go. They are slowly eking their way, grouping up in apps. They're also sending Sorb back. No, he was just peeking and clearing out underpass, making sure they weren't being flanked. Looks like, in fact, it will be a split with a couple players going up cat. Olaf in a great spot, great position to spot this out. Should he not get smoked out? There is one. Oh, he's actually falling off this angle. Grouping up for the B hit. This is where it's coming through. Gunlock needs to be massive. We'll find the first kill and the bomb. Might he find any more? There's a player out around the site. That's Sorb. Not able to find it. The player actually in boost will go down before he found a kill. Bomb once again dropped, and now it's just Paris, 1 versus 2. He has an AWP. Gonna swap over to the AK. He's won a few clutches already, but 9 seconds makes it a lot harder. He won't even find the next kill. Gunlock wins it in a huge round Riot game pickup.
Indeed, 3K for Gunlock, 2K for Jabbo, and whew, take a breath, Riot Gaming. You've definitely gone through one of the more turbulent stanzas in at least in the entire series, dare I say. It went from 0 to 100 real quick, and Paris has still been a force to be reckoned with, and does have the AWP to hand, but it's basically all or nothing now for this and that. They're completely tapped in terms of economic standing, and it's not paying off thus far. Wrath has actually gotten 1, but Jabbo has gotten 2 to reply, and this and that are having their teammates fall all around them. But Sorb actually passed right through Leas. So now we're in a 2 versus 2, and the bomb is on the back of Sorb and now being put down. And Riot Gaming could actually have a round lost on the back of a really wild exchange.
Well, the bomb's planted for CT, and the molly's not going to land. Jabbo just managing to clip that box. That makes this a hell of a lot harder. They do have a molly still on Gunlock. Will molly them off. Smoke going down. Molly missed as well, though. Both of the mollies did not manage to connect, and that makes it a lot harder for Jabbo. He will fall, and this and that. Inch them back 1 round closer. But the fact that neither of those mollies meant to go in behind the ticket booth and CT landed were huge detriments to Riot Gaming. Would have forced that one player out, may have gotten them a kill, maybe put it in a 2v1. Have someone stick the bomb at that point, have the other one holding the angle. Instead, the mollies went to Riot, and down goes the round. Pistols now for Riot Gaming. Surely we're equalized here, Cyberway. Surely.
I'm almost certain that we will see a tie game, and Gunlock extremely tagged. Yep, it looks like we're just going through the motions, and despite death being, well, dead man walking on 3 HP, not really much would be lost if he is to go down anyway. He only has the Mac 10. And, well, we're back to square one. We'll see a decent sized buy on both sides now. And
I don't know, man. Honestly, if I'm Riot, I save 1 more. Like, as scary as that is to give your opponents 14 rounds, they don't really have the money for a proper buy. Maybe buy some pistols to make it hairy.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking to do.
I actually miscalculated. You're correct. They are not in good enough standing to buy in, and wisely, they've only decided to buy a few nades, a couple bits of armor, and some power pistols. You see the 5.7 Deagle and PC50s. Did end up getting 1. Not really all that much. All tags, but no frags, sadly. Sorb brought down to 15. Gunlock holding an angle coming out of the ramp at CT, but did not end up getting much value by that. And well, that's as clean as you like for this and that. And
that sounds like what you said there sounds like an inverse of like the Revivals slogan. Instead of no flips, just fist. No tags, just frags.
Yep. Oh,
I love it.
All tags, no frags. But sadly, but good thing for this and that at least, they're getting a ton of frags to fall in their favor. We'll actually keep an eye on the both of the bomb members are on 26 frags apiece, so keep an eye on them. And we are tied at 4 members apiece, and you can slowly give it to Riot Gaming with Sorb hitting the deck. But now with a explosive cacophony of carnage running out onto the A site. The bomb is now down. This and that have the power to wield and have the manpower now to basically assert dominance, with Jabbo being sent to the grave. Now Olaf will have to basically break this open with his bare hands. Does get one. Gunlock is there to assist. Paris is history. And now Wrath in a 1 versus 2.
Oh, and Olaf hits the headshot through the wall with the AWP. He doesn't have a kit. This is going to be so close. He just got on it right before the music. I think he has time. 2 seconds. 1 second. He gets it at like 0.2 seconds remaining. Down to the wire. Riot grab the round.
And exhale. And recalibrate. That is a huge round for both sides, really. A huge round for this and that to lose. They thought they bought just enough time. And Riot Gaming will be holding their heads high and wiping the sweat off their brow. And for the second map of this set, we are guaranteed to go the distance. And, well, if you're Riot, you'd be very much feeling the momentum and really wanting to keep this going after a round like that, which was decided by literal milliseconds, and they're definitely wanting to put the foot down now with 2 frags being claimed very early on.
Very fast response by Wrath and Paris, evening things back up. 3 versus 3. Bomb will go down. Do they expect that Tom is in Palace, though? They may not realize that someone's gone through, although I think he just got smoked out, so that's usually a sign the jig is up. They're going to start to come in earnest. Jabba's on the AWP. Not able to land the first shot. Paris grabs him. Quickly traded back. Gunlock's got another one. Now it is just Wrath in connector. 1 versus 2. Player starting to cross through. He spotted out. That means they're going to get on the bomb. Wrath, he's got 1. Coming in, trying to find anything to deny this, spraying through. Realizes he's off it. This is just like a wild goose chase right now, right around the bomb. And there is no kit down, so I mean, Tommy's going to lose this round. That's the 15th round for this and that. That's a round they shouldn't have won. But somehow, they are on match point.
And they're going to be left extremely red-faced on the side of Riot Gaming. Even if you had the full 10 seconds in that particular scenario where the terrorists that are on the CTs that are on the Ts that are on the retake, you just stick it. Because why not? But now Riot Gaming are really left in a bit of a rut. Look at where they are laid out. You only have the M4 to hand. You have an AK on the back of Tom. Still creeping up on that 30 bomb. He's 2 frags away. And Jabbo and Leias only have the power pistols to hand. It's ropey from end to end. No utility. Barely any weaponry. And this and that are packed to the gills.
We've seen Riot pull off miracle rounds before. They pulled, I think, 6 of them out of this series, where they've had subpar buys, I guess, subpar weaponry, and they pull it out. There's a chance. I'm never going to rule Riot Gaming out now when they don't have a full buy. But towards B is where the hit's coming. Information, Gunlock. Oh, the timing on that was huge. He might be able to catch some players on Cat. In fact, he will find one. Evens things back up 4v4 very quickly. Damage done to death. There is actually still Jabbo on the site. He's found 2 kills. Making a 3rd. Jabbo, are you kidding me? Death is still alive. It's 1 versus 3 for Death. Knows where one player is, but he's in all kinds of trouble. That was absolutely massive from Jabbo, though. No Death trying to corral it. Not able to. Olaf clinches it. We're going to overtime for the 2nd time in this series.
And Jabbo is proving that the Desert Eagle is not only a very formidable weapon, but a scary, scary beast. But when they are tamed and in the hands of a good trainer, and that is what Jabbo is. straight up a 3K for it to lock down the B bomb site and basically even give a new lifeline to Riot Gaming when things look so down and out. And you bigged it up straight for the break in that round, in round number 30. They've done a lot more, they've done a lot more with a lot less, and they did a lot. And they made a lot of noise, and they've made this and that basically rethink where they stand. Because we're even again. And we could not decide it in regulation on the third map. Who goes on to the upper bracket final, and who will be dropped down to face Trident Storm? Golly. Take a breath.
Oh my god. What a way for us to go to overtime. What a demoralizing way. And you can see that Riot Gaming, they want to get right into this. They want to come right back. They want to keep trying to capitalize off that momentum, off the emotions of pulling that round out, and see if they can't capitalize on this and that being a little bit heartbroken. This round, of course, is always pivotal, but you want to get off on the right foot. And if Riot Gaming can win this round, then the pressure's really on this and that.
Indeed. Bit of a little bit of a slow time for both sides when you're going into an elongated game like this, an elongated set. You can't really afford to play the basically reckless abandon style that you might want. You have to really take your time and be careful where you tread. The bomb is sitting on the T ramp. 3 members are there. And there will be 3 to contend with the side of this and that should they choose to advance. It looks like that might be the cue to go, especially with Death getting the opening frag and Olaf getting the trade. Jabba could be huge here in his current position. To get one, but hasn't quite gotten the rest of it. But Gunlock on the flank through Palace, he could be a monumental piece of this defense if the bomb ends up going down.
And the thing is, Death is very low as well, which doesn't make it easy. Gunlock coming out, right timing on this one, knows there's a player right below him. He's not going to see the player wide open in sight, though. He sees him, finally spotted it out. Sorb will fall, it's just Death. 11 HP, a dream, and a 1 versus 3. What can he pull off? Molly's in. There's no way he can get up connector there on the bomb. This is a round for Riot Gaming.
And Clinical, just like clockwork. But Death does survive. So that is, well, 1 piece of weaponry carried over. That's one little benefit for that. But when you're in overtime, it doesn't really hold as much weight as it would in regulation. We are in MR3 16K for this match, for reference. So it doesn't hold as much weight as opposed to other overtime rule sets.
Oh, and the flashbang, good. Paris caught out close. Riot Gaming, they're starting to roll. They can feel this. They can feel the Mountain Dew League right around the corner. They can feel clinching it. They just need a couple more rounds. Now Death has fallen. They're playing with confidence. They're playing with swagger. And they're finding kills everywhere they look. Wrath, though, we'll bring it back a little bit. Make it a 3 versus 4. That was over towards the A-bomb site. Rotator's already starting to join them. I feel like that's where the bomb might be. Jabba once again spotting Wrath in Palace.
They're really scared of the low position, this and that as well. Now they're slowly chipping away at the defense of the A-bomb site, and if one of this and that's members could get a frag, it could be huge, but it's going to be made that much more difficult with Sorb no longer a part of the fight.
Now Sill, 9 HP, 1 versus 3. Spotted out, straight through. Good though, not able to find the second kill. And Riot 2 rounds away from closing out this series.
And a lot of sweat in amongst their ranks, I'm sure. Because I don't know about you, Dream, but you'd be in winter because you are Canadian, but here in Australia it is bloody hot. It is hot. It is very hot. And,
Funny, here it's bloody cold.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of A lot of high tension, a lot of sweat, and that both sides would just be glad that this is over. But one will be holding their heads a little bit higher because they won and booked themselves in the upper bracket. Wrath is no longer in the running. Olaf has taken care of that. So now I'm 5 versus 4 early on to get right to match point, and this and that is still wanting to hang on just based on the position alone, especially Syl. To get the frag on the gunlock.
Yeah, I did find one. It's brought things back even here. However, they are moving towards B. Jabo sitting right by the van, lying in wait like a snake in the grass. Spots out one. Shot a little bit early there. However, Olaf found a kill. Jabo's got another one. Not able to spray through. Not able to find the second. However, a lot of damage done. Leaves it a 2 versus 2, and the health advantage firmly in Riot's hands. Bomb, though, should be able to go down before Tom gets anywhere close. But Lace on Cat might be able to catch someone out here trying to get to a better post plant.
You don't have much warm up, and you play a whole fucking 3 maps.
Yes, he will. Leas will get the hands on the sub, and now we are in a duel, a 1 versus 1, and Paris has the stronger position, and that will be the end of that. Paris did end up cracking the 30 bomb, but it took over Regulation to do it, and we are at 17-16 at the change. Riot Gaming lead by 1. And to reiterate, the magic number to win the map and the series at the moment is 19. If both teams reach 18, we will go around again. But who do you give this to, Dreamboat? I can't.
I honestly, I still have to give the edge to Riot. I don't know, man. We might also end up in another OT where we have to go again. I mean, it's the way that this series seems to be going. These two teams so even. We've had 2 OTs already in the series. The first map was a little bit more decisive at 16-9. However, now that everyone's got warmed up and ready to go and really feeling comfortably, it's either TNT, like either of these teams could take it. I need Twitch chat's help. And the way we're going to do that is if you are a TNT fan, or think TNT's got this, you're going to drop some foreheads in chat, the emote. If you think Riot Gaming have this, you're posting Ming Lee's, okay? Can everyone do that? Ming Lee for Riot Gaming, forehead for this and that.
Please do.
Let's see if the emotes can help us decide. We are live here into the second half of this overtime. Riot have the 1-round lead, but they are over on the T side.
And Riot really wanted to go aggressive very early on. And Gunlock
Look at the rotates!
Trying to make it fake. They're pitting on this hook line and sinker. If one of the members of Riot can actually either get a frag or tag up, that would be huge. But the wall's been pulled over this and that side. The bomb is down. And Gunlock, yeah, he did go down, but he basically proved to be the sacrificial, and it paid off in spades. Now, this is that forced a retake, and they're doing a good job of it thus far, with Olive being sent to the obituary.
Syl will fall as well. Down goes Paris. This is absolutely massive, and now it is just 1 man left alive. Wrath, 1 versus 3 with the AWP in hand. Can he find anybody? No! Jabo rips his head away. Riot Gaming are on match point. 1 round is all they need to close out this series.
They're coming in as hot as you could imagine. And yeah, we had both of our 30 bomb watch members hit the illustrious milestone. And Tom actually did hit that with 30 and 21. He's definitely been the one to wake up after a little bit of a rough skid in the previous map, which also went to overtime. But
Paris
now,
is also up to 32 and 26 as well. So dueling 30 bombs. I like it.
yes, indeed. Both of our recipients. I highlighted them, I think, at the change. They were wanting to go for the 30 bombs. The change in regulation, mind you. Oh my goodness, Gunlock eating a ton of damage from the nades down to 8 HP. It sounded like artillery ringing in his ears, and now he will be ringing up death and saying, hey, come pick me up. I need an Uber. I'm dead. and he is out of it. And basically now a 5 vs 3 now. And let's try to bring things back, but this and that are having none of it. And now it is Jabbo in a 1 vs 3. He was heroic before to get to overtime. Can he be heroic to get them the W? Not quite. Did get one, but Paris will stop the festivities. And this and that are now at 17. If they win this round, we go again for another round of extras. And if Riot Gaming wins, they will go to the winners finals.
Oh my god, this series is the gift that keeps on giving. It looks like Riot Gaming, though, creeping up towards the A-bomb site. We should see this hit come in momentarily here. Cyberwist, it looks like they want to go fast and furious, flying their way right out Palace. They are into the site. They've already got the bomb over there. They should be able to get it planted, but they've taken a ton of damage. That will find the first kill, spraying through the gap in the smoke as the bomb goes down. Oh, and they're going to find another kill. Death has fallen, makes it a 4 vs 4. Retake trying to come in quickly. Tom will fall. Down goes Lass as well, but Gunlock, he's got 2. Jabbo spraying through as well. He closes it out, wins the 1v1, and Riot Gaming knock off this and that. Now they booked the date with Astral Influence.
Indeed, and a very well done job there for Riot Gaming. What was that? A 2k for Jabbo and a 2k for Gunlock to close things out. I said he was going to play the hero. I said that Jabbo would bring his heroics to the table once again. He bought the OT with a 3k and closes the series with a 2k, and just past 10 minutes to midnight Australian Eastern Daylight Time, we have your victors. Riot Gaming win the series 2 maps to 1, and Mr. Morrison, aka Dreamboat, it's been a wild ride, but do you have an MVP for the series?
Oh god, asking the hard questions. I almost can't give it to Tom because of like him falling off on that second map. He was very good in the first one, very good in the third one. I mean, the MVP of the third one. But he was non-existent on the second map. So, I mean, Jabbo was really good for a lot of the series. Everyone, Olaf had some really nice shots. Sorb on the other side was incredible. Like, this series was almost too close with so many big hero plays from so many players. I'm not sure you can even give an MVP. I guess Jabbo would be mine?
I did actually ask a heavily weighted question, didn't I?
Gunlock as well. Like, Lace, like, everyone on Riot popped off at some point. So did the players on this and that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Jabbo, but you can't go wrong with anybody in this series, pretty much.
You're not wrong at all. We've seen basically a full-blown slugfest and a statement game for a lot of members on both teams. I feel a lot of the it could be the shuffle season, and we could see them go up to the top. But I'd definitely give it to Jabbo. I mean, he won them the overtime and the game. So, commiserations to this and that, but it's not over for them just yet. They go to the level bracket where they face Trident Storm, and the winners, Riot Gaming, will go and face off with Astral Influence. And Riot are your winners 16-9, 16-19, and 19-17 to conclude. And close to midnight here in Australia, we are spent. I would like to thank you all for joining us on CappingTV. Follow the channel here on Twitch at CappingTV. Follow them on Twitter at CappingTV for coverage of many a game that is competitive. And I'd like to thank my producer Mitch, my co-caster Mr. Graham Morrison. Follow him at DreamboatCasts. I have been Justin Lutz, aka Cyberwaste. Good night and happy Friday.